This version of It's Erik Nagel has been modified from its original broadcast. Content has been edited to fit this platform.
A message for the ladies and gentlemen around the world and all the ships at sea.
We all make choices, but in the end, our choices make us.
So choose wisely. Subscribe to It's Erik Nagel wherever shows are found, on whatever platform you choose. And as always, leave us a positive review. Would you kindly?
The Indian box is the only box that did not come with something that has a seaweed snack. Every fucking box I get has a seaweed snack in it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of seaweed and people got to eat it. What else are you going to do with it?
People don't got to eat it. You throw it
Yes,
back
you
in the
have
ocean
to.
like a normal human being.
No, dude, you have to eat it. That's the rule.
You don't have. It's not like you break it, you bought it, or you touch it, you
Nope.
buy it.
Seaweed, you catch it, you eat it. That's the rule.
You don't catch seaweed. It catches you.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, exactly. And that's why you have to eat it, because otherwise it'll eat you.
It gets caught on everything that you throw into the ocean. Nets, fishing
Erik, you are
lines.
so wrong about seaweed.
Oil.
Yep.
There's always seaweed somewhere.
Erik, when you don't know about seaweed, could fill a pool and then we could throw the seaweed in there to live in it.
One bite, everybody knows the rules. Eat the seaweed.
Yeah. And Erik just be yelling, kelp, kelp me.
It's Erik Nagel. And it starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear.
Erik Nagel.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another edition of It's Erik Nagel, and that is myself. Over in the underground, the upside down, the area that I'm pointing at that you can't see because it's an audio medium, that would be Giddles.
Hey, what's up, man? I'm in the underground now. I guess that's kind of cool.
The underground,
Sounds like I'm
the
like in the
upside down.
90s and I found some cool music. I'm in the underground. I got like sunglasses on, a backwards hat, and baggy pants. I'm cool.
Word. Then we're going to go over to Los Angeles, where our pal Zia Anderson is also joining us. Hi, Zia.
Hello, I'm on the West Coast, the best coast. I'm actually just joking. I'm trying to move to the East Coast.
Which will be fun once you come back to the New York area. I think things will be, as the kids say, off and poppin' for you, career-wise. Anyway, follow us, follow the show. It's Erik Nagel across the board on social media. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We've been updating the YouTube stuff, as I've seen a few people have noticed. We've been making all kinds of weird, cool changes to it, and now we're also going to start putting some best of stuff up there. People have been enjoying Giddle's movie reviews for movies that nobody asked him to review. He just happened to see stuff off of some of the services that he watches, older movies that were just bad, horror movies that nobody's heard of. And whenever he comes on and does a review, and I think we have one later today that he's going to do, people seem to enjoy it. So we're going to isolate those very soon and start putting that up. My favorite to this date is the Johnny Mnemonic one.
Oh, man.
Which, if you haven't heard that one, go back a few episodes, find that. Until then, we'll throw it up on the YouTube.
Great time with the boys, and then there's this dolphin.
Right. It's always a fucking dolphin.
Always a dolphin.
A lot has gone on since we all last got together. I want to talk about, run through the VMAs real quick. I want to talk about what happened at D23 last weekend. But before we do all of that, at the time that we are taping this show, this would be Thursday night. There's a hurricane on its way heading to Florida called Hurricane Dorian. And they thought it was going to... The what?
This a Disney thing, Finding Hurricane Dorian?
Yes, exactly. Hurricane Dorian Gray. If he sees his reflection in the ocean, he ages and dies.
Ooh.
See the tie
That would be
there?
a great way to stop it.
Right, it is.
Yeah.
That's usually a Disney thing. The parents are dead, and then somebody dies horrifically, and then cartoon happy ending, and then it's infused into a theme park somehow.
Yay.
Hurricane Dorian coming to Walt Disney and to the state of Florida by this weekend. Now, when it was starting, like they say, oh, it's a tropical depression. We're going to look and monitor this, and then it's a tropical storm. And now it looks like it's going to hit Puerto Rico because Puerto Rico has been devastated 2 years ago by a bad hurricane that still haven't really gotten up and running 100% since then. So this wasn't going to look good for them. But it made a curve, didn't hit Puerto Rico. Now it's just out in the Atlantic there. Going to plow through the Bahamas, and it looks like it's making a complete right angle and going straight into the state of Florida sideways. It's going perpendicular into the state of Florida.
It's kind of looking like the Hurricane Andrew trajectory. Like, remember when it just went straight across like that?
But that had a straight, but that was like a straight line, because when it curved up, it went up diagonal. Usually when the hurricanes hit, especially if they come out of the Gulf, they do just kind of a straight line across.
Yeah.
Like a diagonal line. This went up and then is making a left.
Uh-huh.
I've never seen that. It's because they were showing the, meteorology speak, where they're showing the pressure systems containing this thing and kind of moving it through a maze. So it's supposed to go up the East Coast and then usually curves off into the Atlantic Ocean, going towards Europe, and dissolves. This way it's going up, and nope, there's nowhere to go, left. And we're going to go sideways right into the state of Florida. And they said, well, we're expecting the hurricane to hit anywhere from Jacksonville to Miami. Now, if you're not familiar with this, that is 95% the entire east coast of the state of Florida.
It's a pretty big storm.
Yeah, they talk about the eye. Storms can hit multiple states. It's always the eye that they're really concentrated on. So it could hit anywhere from the north part of the state to the southern part of the state. So somewhere in there, the truth lies. So this thing's going to plow through. Now, they were saying, it's a Category 1. It's not going to be that bad. Then they were saying, it's look like it's going to be a Category 3 by the time it gets there. Tonight, Thursday, the time that we're taping this, now they're saying Category 4. This thing is raging pretty hard by the time it hits the east coast of the state of Florida. Now, I have a bunch of family in Florida. A lot of them I haven't heard what they're doing about, and the some that I have don't seem to be taking this seriously. Now, these are people... Well, this is what my problem is. These are people that have been down there for many years. You're talking 20 years that have been down there. And every time hurricane stuff comes up, I get criticized and laughed at, saying, Eric's going crazy with the hurricanes again. Are you going to come down and throw the furniture into the pool? No, your house is going to get flooded again. And you're laughing at me that I'm the one who is going crazy, a bit hysterical.
Overdramatic?
Yeah, over these things. And then you watch the news, which is very overdramatic. And I will say this, if you hear this within a certain amount of time before this hurricane hits, watch the news anchor that they're the weather person that they're using on CNN.
Meteorologist?
He's a fucking freak show, because he's screaming, he's yelling, he's pointing at screens like this. He's like, you don't understand. And the anchor's going, okay, so we'll check back with you as the situation's developed. No, you don't understand. Like, he doesn't wind up his thought. He keeps this thing going and going as long as he can, because he knows this is the only airtime he normally gets.
Anytime there's a storm, he's like, it's my time to shine.
You know what it is he's been watching all these natural disaster movies, and it's always like the local news, like meteorologist guy who understands it all completely. And he's always just like, no one's listening to me. And then they're like, no, it's going to be fine, Jim. And then the volcano fucking explodes. Like,
and he's
always.
like, I told you so.
Yeah, and then not only that, he has to rescue everyone. So maybe that's what he's trying to do. Maybe he's just trying to have a nice, relaxing week where he doesn't have to go rescue everyone because no one listened to his advice, Eric.
Well, if nobody if that was the case where he was telling people, look, you got to have these things, you got to evacuate, you got to get gas, you got to check your doing all those things, I get that. This guy was not doing that. He said, if anyone tells you they know exactly where this hurricane's going to hit, they're going to try to sell you some oceanfront property in Arizona. Nothing. It died. It just sat there. They had a split screen. The anchor's going like this. Like that. Just nodding his head. Right? If anyone can find this clip, it was from Thursday, I'll say in the 4 p.m. hour on CNN. Whatever show's on there, it was after Wolf Blitzer. Whatever was going on there, if you can find that clip where he starts pointing the screen and goes, we're going with the European system right now because that's been tried and true and we're more accurate. It's more accurate than the American system that you have. Fine, whatever. But this guy is in a really ill-fitting suit. Like, if you ever watched shows in the 90s where they wore dress suits and they were always a little too big, they weren't tailored to the people.
Puffy shoulders, and not
even puffy shoulders. It just looks like
sleeves would like hang big.
Yeah, it looks like a kid wearing dad's suit. That's how this douchebag was dressed. So he's doing this whole thing there in front of the screens, panicking, going crazy. It's like this. Like, we don't know the trajectory of where it's going, except in this area of the state. We don't know where exactly it's going to hit. And he's going, look at the Bahamas and look at the Atlantic, and it's like, oh my God, dude, calm down. So,
dude, you're gonna see that motherfucker on the news during the hurricane with a canoe filled with puppies that he rescued. You know what? That's what he's going to be. And then he's going to be the hero, and he's going to be like, suck it, Erik Nagel.
I was going to say, hopefully, this is the guy I'm going to see on the news that's face down, half being sucked into a sewer drain because he didn't heed his own advice and was one of those assholes standing out in the storm, and unfortunately something happened.
You're like, wow, this is some good viral
Did you
marketing.
say unfortunately?
Yeah, I did say unfortunately. You have to see, when you do radio and stuff like this, you got to be a bit legal minded, because you can't just say, I want this guy to die, because then things happen.
You just did, Erik.
People take. I just said that as an example of things not to say.
Remember that state bit about the president and things you can't say, and then they all come and rush in?
Yep. Wow, I forgot about that one.
I can't in classroom right now just say.
I remember how that bit went. Oh, I'm gonna. They come in there and everyone's just looking around like, what the fuck just happened?
So good.
It was the human equivalent of whenever you would see an old Looney Tunes cartoon and a bunch of characters would be fighting, and you would just see a cloud with words and maybe a leg or an arm sticking out the side while this cloud of fighting's going on, and then it goes past somebody, and then as it passed that person's missing because they get sucked into the big fight storm that's going on.
Yeah.
That's what it was like. Anyway, back to Florida. So I call my parents to see what they're doing. And my mom is saying, well, we're going to see what's going to happen. We're going to stay here. We're going to write it out. Okay, well, and I'm running over a list of stuff. Do you have this? Do you have that? Because they're elderly. They got prescriptions. They got to get all this stuff, right? She's got most of it. Okay, cool. So what do you have to do if you evacuate? Well, we're not planning to evacuate. I know you're not planning to evacuate, but they have a really nice house on the ocean. Chances are there were going to be mandatory evacuations for this, right? And this was the first time before it was up to a Category 4. Then when I call her back, I said, it's a Category 4. They're going to tell you that you have to leave the island to go onto the mainland stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to try to figure this out. I said, did you call? I told her a couple days ago, you should try and call and order, reserve a hotel room. I'll think about it. Everything I said was just falling on deaf ears, and they're not actually deaf, which would make more sense, but she was just choosing to ignore what I was telling her. So today, talking to them, did you make the room? No, I didn't, because they don't take dogs. You don't tell them that you're looking for a room that'll take a dog. You just make the reservation, and you bring the dog in through the side, and if they say you have a dog in here, well, there's a hurricane going on. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. They can't do anything to you, right?
No, you have to get 3 dogs. You put them in a trench coat, and that's how you get them in.
Oh, see, now Brian's thinking. Or that they're on the trench coat, but you just have them on the cart that you wheel them through, and it looks like they're walking.
Yeah, either way. Or you just be like, this is my fucking dog. He's coming in the room, and they're like, I don't care. I get paid minimum wage.
Yeah, most people at the front don't give a shit.
Right. Yeah. And if they do, they have a dog in there. You're not allowed to have a dog in here. Well, there's a hurricane going on. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're not going to do anything. You're not going to try to throw the dog out. And if you cause
we got a thing in the back to get rid of it. And there's just a gator. You just feed it to it.
Worst case scenario, if somebody they're really trying to evict you from the room, you can just say, okay, I'm going to talk to every local news outlet here and say that this hotel threw us out as a hurricane was coming because we had a dog and we were seeking shelter and rescue and all this shit. No hotel's going to mess with you with it.
No, it's not going to be a real issue.
So they don't make the reservation. So, well, what are you going to do? So I have other family nearby that have also another big house, but on the mainland there, away from flood zones and what have you. So they're going to go there. Okay. Well, I can't bring the dog there. Why not? Because the dog at this house is a corgi.
Oh, jeez.
They're adorable.
They're so cute.
But they're vicious towards other dogs.
Yeah, they're dicks.
They do not like other animals. They like other corgis. They do not like other animals. So they've tried this before with a different storm years ago. And their dog, my parents' dog, was locked in a bedroom. And the dog from this house would not leave the door to that room. Ruined the door, ruined the framing, the mold, all that stuff, scratching, barking, trying to rip this thing apart. So they're going to this house and sending the dog somewhere else. So the dog is now going to my sister's place. So my sister's fucking Dr. Doolittle has a bunch of different animals. So, okay, fine. The dog's going to go with them. But then, like, her family is going to be at a different house while she's at this condo thing. So everyone's 1 degree away from where they actually should be. Yeah. They all should be in the right spot, yet they're not going to be in the right spot. It's very confusing, and it's very frustrating. But they're going to figure all this out. So I asked
hopefully soon enough. It comes in, what, 2 days?
About, so let's see. Yeah, they're saying about Saturday it'll be closed. Sunday, I think it actually hits.
Yeah, so they got 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, so again, I'm telling them, did you go out? Did you get stuff? Are you looking for supplies for certain places? Well, one member of my family, I said, well, what would be good for glass doors? What could we put on the glass doors? Tape. Obviously, you get industrial tape. You put that over there. Or they sell these hurricane shield things that are, it's like it's like those things that you put on your window to tint your window. Right, those big rolls of plastic, but you put it on there so this way, if something does hit it, impact, or it shatters, it's all locked together. So it's like the protective screens for your phone. If you shatter your phone, it's all in one piece. You see that it's cracked, but the pieces aren't going to go everywhere, right?
Right.
So do that and then go get plywood. Oh, well, plywood, they're probably all sold out by now. Yeah, or at least go out and try and see. You still have a few days. Go see if there's anything left. And I said,
cut down a tree. Do something.
Do that. Whittle.
Yeah.
Tap into your Amish primitive roots. Do something. Build a barn. Go and do all of that stuff. Nobody thinks to do that. Or they just assume, it's probably already out, so I'm not going to go do that. Which I don't get that attitude at all. I'd be out there trying to get every last thing I could. Or I would have, I already have it. And I'm
you have your whole house is like a Walmart already. You have enough supplies there.
Right.
People should come to you to get supplies.
I don't buy stuff when I need it. I buy stuff because my backups are gone. When I'm on the backups and I go, I'm out of backups, I'm on that level of stuff that I'm using right now. I go and I buy other stuff to have as backups.
Everyone should have a closet full of shit.
Yeah,
great.
That's what I do.
When we move to the East Coast and something goes down, we're going to your place. That's
exactly. You should.
Basically.
I've got cases of water. I've got tons of candles and LED lanterns and batteries and
worst comes to worst, you could just hide in the giant gun safe. Yeah. And then you'll be fine. Like the whole house could fall on you. You'll be fine in that safe.
You ever see the 4th Indiana Jones where he has to hide in the refrigerator because the nuclear bomb testing was going off?
Yeah.
That's what this safe is. Yeah. So if that goes down there, I shut that door and I'm good. I'll wait for, I won't last the radiation afterward, but I'll survive the initial explosion.
You'll be cooked alive.
Right. So I have all of that stuff. That's just how I think. I tend to panic before anything happens. I don't panic when things happen. I panic before things happen. Mm-hmm. What if this situation could happen? When that hurricane hit here back in 2012, we had Hurricane Sandy hit, right? I had all this other stuff set and ready to go. One thing I didn't think of was having a generator, right? So I saw my neighbor had a whole generator system built into his garage where it feeds from the garage into the house through the mainline power stuff. And I was like, I didn't think of that. So guess what I did immediately after the hurricane? I had my house rewired and I have the generator set up in the back so that this way, one, it's in the back and so that people can't steal it because people do go around and steal generators and shit in times like this. And then I have it. I have a kind of a plug system in the back where I unlock this thing. You pull the big metal tab up, you lock it in, you pull the thing down to kind of weatherproof it. It's in there, and you switch the circuit box in the house from the main power to this generator line, and it'll start powering the whole entire house.
It's like Jurassic Park.
Exactly. You throw the switch, and then this thing goes, and it runs on propane.
And that arm falls on your shoulder, and you're like, oh, thank God it's you. And then you turn like, there's no person attached to it.
So down there, most of them do have propane tanks buried underground for these houses. So within 30 seconds of your power going out, these things kick in, and they last about, I guess, a week or so. Where they could, if they had everything on in the house, that thing will last a week. So if you have most of the shit off and you're just running basics like the refrigerator and the air conditioning in one section of the house and, anything else for cooking or if you have to do laundry or something like that, this thing is going to take care of it. And that's pretty standard down there. A lot of people have these things now. So they have the house all set. They've got the shutters. If I ever bought a house down there, I'm going to flip a switch, and then I'll just yell, Autobots transform, and then this house is going to, like, the 6-foot wall is now going to turn into a 12-foot wall. Shit comes down.
The grates come down.
Yeah, shit comes down over the windows, the skylights.
Robot sentry guards.
Yeah, the skylights get sucked in, and they'll go down and then suck into the roof there, and then, like, turrets pop up. So I'm ready to take on the world.
Those robot dogs from Cambridge, whatever it is, like, patrolling the property.
Bulletproof glass windows just everywhere.
Everything. Well, down there they do. It's the equivalent of bulletproof. They're hurricane-proof glass, and they show you. If I can find these commercials, I'll try to throw one online. But they used to have commercials down in Florida when they were trying to tell you about this hurricane-tested glass, and it was just these rednecks that would stand. That were in a field that have these panes of glass locked in. And they had air cannons shooting steel beams and all kinds of crazy shit into this window just to show that it fractures, but it doesn't blow up or go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's amazing to watch. You sit there and you go, I kind of want hurricane windows based on watching them just throw in anything you could. They're shooting car parts, a bowling ball, all this stuff.
It's like those will it blend videos, but it's like will it break?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, it was just an excuse for some rednecks in Florida to get an air cannon or some kind of pressurized gun and say, let's just shoot shit into this glass, and then that's the commercial. Done.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So
it makes me want to buy it.
Right. So you have all these windows down there for these houses. So, they've learned over the years that your housing has to get to certain coding and do all of this stuff. But nobody has the sense of urgency with this thing. Now, talking to one family member said, well, once it hit a category 3, it became really annoying because then you got to do stuff. I said, what does that mean? He said, well, you don't really do anything if it's a hurricane 1 or category 1 or 2. You take precaution, but you don't really do it. Now 3 is when everybody actually has to go out and buy stuff and do things, and they're all very nonchalant. It's more of an inconvenience to people down there than it is, oh my God, this is a natural disaster that is coming, right?
Yeah.
I don't get that mentality. I freak out over everything. Like, we got to have this done, have it ready to go, done ahead of time. Yeah. And then you constantly see videos where gas is, I saw on CNN tonight where they were saying there was shipments of gas to some of these gas stations at 5 p.m. and they're already out because people are filling up. And down in Florida too, they're not very environmentally concerned when it comes to their automobiles. They have huge trucks that are diesel engines and 2 tanks. So they're filling that up. They're filling up big containers. They've got RVs. They've got all this gas guzzling stuff down there that they're just pumping everything they can into these containers to be ready for this storm. So you got no gas and it's Thursday. So you're still about 3 days away before this thing comes. Now they're also saying, they show the supermarket, water and baby formula and diapers and all this stuff are almost all gone.
Yeah, because that's what everyone buys. Right.
So they go and buy that. So that's all gone. Again, 3 days out. And people are still either we're good. We'll just ride it out. Everybody's idea, we'll just ride it out. We don't care. And then you see these horrific videos later where they're showing the copters over heavily flooded areas near Lake Okeechobee.
Taking them off their house.
Yeah. All these things, and you decided to ride it out, but I'm the one who says, do you have all this stuff together? And they're laughing at me for it.
Well, but also this happens all the time. So it wouldn't be the first time this has happened, the first time they've seen it. So it seems crazy that they'll be like, we'll just ride it out when you've already seen it happen and you can't ride it out.
Let me tell you. All right. So the history of me in Florida, my grandparents moved down there in the mid 80s. They retired down there. So we were always going down to Florida every summer. Then my family got a condo down in New Smyrna Beach, which is just right there. New Smyrna Beach, which is right there. It's Daytona Beach. Like you go 2 miles down and
beach I've ever heard of.
You go down 2 miles and then there's Daytona Beach. You're near International Boulevard, the Speedway, all of that stuff, right? So we used to go down for the month of August for summer vacation and come back right before school started, right after Labor Day. So we'd be down there for the entire month of August. We'd go down on a cruise or something down in Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, stay down there a tiny bit, then go up to Daytona, New Smyrna area. And we've been doing that since the late 80s. And I've been down there for almost every fucking hurricane that has come to Florida since the late 80s. I was down there for Hurricane Andrew, which was in 1992. We were down there. Now, that hit more Miami, but I remember my cousin and I went down on the beach at night. It was so windy, you could jump, and we were kids, you could jump up and it would roll you back a little bit. That's how big the wind gusts were, because they were coming from the south, right? So it's coming straight up from the beach. So you'd stand and face south on the beach, you'd jump, and the wind would take you and you'd tumble back a little bit. Then you'd get up and you'd try to walk through it again. Like, we were having fun. It was a game. And then I remember his dad coming run down there and smacking us both in the head and grabbing us and dragging us in. It's like, what the hell are you guys doing?
You're going to die.
I remember him, my Uncle Donald, bringing us up back into the condo. And so he's got me and my cousin, and my dad's name is Jim. And he goes, Jim, he's like, guess where I found these two assholes? I'm like, we're kids. And he's just dragging us in by our shoulders. They're out on the beach. So my mom's yelling, my dad's yelling, what the hell are you doing like that? And then a little later, my dad was like, so what was it like? Was it funny? You were jumping?
Of course.
Right?
That's always how it is.
Of course.
Anyway, so I've been through a lot of these hurricanes, and I've seen over the years how they prepped for it. There used to be this one guy on the Weather Channel everybody watched. I think his name was John something. He was a skinny little dude with a weird, like, burly mustache. Like, he was the guy that everybody turned to for the Weather Channel. Like, he was the hurricane expert. I think he died a while back. But
in a hurricane?
Oddly enough, no. Tornado. So just kidding. He had so it was this little guy with a mustache. I think his name was John something. I can't remember. But this is before all the news had their own divisions of everything. The Weather Channel was still fairly new in the late 80s, early 90s, and he was the expert to go to. So we always watched him and learned how you handle all this hurricane stuff and what you're doing. And you'd learn over the years, you always have these supplies. So every time we go down, we'd have these supplies, whether a hurricane hit or not. But I learned growing up, that's what you have to do for these things. And every time I bring it up, everyone in my family makes fun of me for doing that. So what have you. Years go by, you get into the 2000s, some bigger hurricanes hit. Right when I moved back to New York in 2004, I think Giddles was about to move in with me at this point.
Yeah, about that.
I moved back in August of 2004, back up to New York. And we're doing a promotional tour for XM, for O&A. We're gonna, the show's coming back in October. And 3 hurricanes hit pretty much back to back to back in the state of Florida. 3 of them. Yeah, so you had Charlie, you had Francis, and you had...
Was Charlie
there was 4 of them. There was
Charlie was later than that.
No, there was Charlie, which was a Category 4 hurricane, hit in August of 2014. You had Francis, and the rest of these were in September of 2004. Then you had in September, you had Francis, Ivan, and Janine, or Jean, Jeanne.
Francis.
All hit the state of Florida within the scope of a month. One of them came from the Gulf, went across the island, came from, how did it go?
I remember there was the one that kept in the Gulf and stayed.
Yeah, there was one that stalled.
Came back.
There was one that stalled near, I guess, the Tampa St. Pete area. Just stalled there, right there from the Gulf. One came across the state, turned around, and came back again.
Yeah, that was great. It was I missed some people, and they came back.
Right. So, all this weird shit was going on, especially in 2004. This is when, a lot of my family had they had dry docks for their boats. They had regular docks to go from the water to the property, all underwater. The ocean rose up over the land, any pools that were in that area were all filled in. And if you didn't have a properly sealed house, it flooded in through your living room. Right there, and the kitchen and stuff that faced the ocean.
Yeah.
Well, for some reason, in this part of Florida, a lot of these houses, and they're all very Spanish-style looking houses, yet they have French doors. So they would have a whole living room because the whole thing is that you're down in Florida. You have to have as much light in the room as possible. People like light in their rooms. They have not even just window panes, full door sections. French doors are those 2 thin little doors that open like this, right?
Yeah.
but they're not sealed properly. They're French doors, so they're meant to open. They have them all locked, but they're not sealed for the elements to come back this way. So all these houses that had these dumb French doors in every room blew right open, and the water came right through, and people were finding dead fish and crabs and.
Well, France doesn't get a lot of hurricanes, so like French doors aren't going to hold up. You know what I mean?
Right, but
I feel like at that point you'd have the kind of doors that you need in Florida. Like, why would you?
Yeah, some
not?
real fake doors.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
that are actually like doors.
I don't know, but rich people seem to love French doors, and it ruined all their houses. So guess what happened? After those hurricanes hit, no more French doors. They all had those things sealed in with properly. Sealed panes of hurricane glass, or they built wall structures over where those doors should have been, which should have been there in the first place.
Yeah.
And this hurricane has the word door right in it.
Yes.
Like, it's just coming. It's like Dorian. Like, hey, get your doors fixed.
It's like
come right through your door.
It's like Land Shark from Saturday Night Live. The hurricane knocks on your door, and you're like, "Hello, candygram." Oh, it's a candygram. Why that hurricane right through the door? It kills everything in its path.
Is that why there's no taxes in Florida? Because they want anyone to live there because of all the fucking hurricanes?
I don't. Maybe just because Florida's awesome. Because Florida doesn't have income tax.
I know.
Doesn't have income tax. Doesn't have death tax. Doesn't have a state tax.
Why is there a death tax? Why is that a thing?
Because certain states have the right to a lot of people when they die don't have wills or properly legal documents to specify where their money goes, so the state tries to jump in and claim whatever it can.
Man,
yeah.
Sneaky
So
bastards.
if somebody
even worse than that, I think it's more of like, you sucked so much and now you're dead and we're going to tax you because
you were such a horrible person.
Yeah, like
fuck you, give us your money.
Right. So they have death taxes in a lot of areas, but a lot of stuff in Florida doesn't exist. Florida and Texas are like the two bastions of the United States where people flee to now. Because look, people say Florida's crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy fucking people down in Florida.
Yeah.
But those are people who were born and grew up in Florida. People who move to Florida are not the fucking crazy ones. So, and also Florida too is divvied up based by where you lived in the country. Because the east coast of Florida, if you're down in the West Palm Beach area, is a lot of people from New York, Boston, I believe the Illinois area, maybe Chicago stuff, and Quebec. There's a lot of Quebec people down there.
Quebec?
All right.
That's interesting. So, like, why do they stay so divided? Do they have, like, an East Coast, West Coast rivalry down there, too? Is there, like, rap battles? Like, Florida rap, like, white trash rap battles?
Oh, I'm sure there is. That's
West
all
Coast?
down in
I
Dade
hope
County,
so.
which is the Miami area.
Like, oh, it's the Redneck Riviera.
Miami, down there, obviously, huge Cuban population. There's a big Cuban population, black population, and I think those are the two main. Like there are white people that live down there, but
Dominican.
I think like a lot of the Hispanic, different portions of Hispanic populations live down in the South Florida area, in the Miami area. But then you have that there, and anybody who comes down to Miami is usually, if they move to the Miami area, usually from the Northeast.
Interesting.
They come down there. Then you get the west coast of Florida, where the southwest coast of Florida is just where people go to die. There's nothing going on there. That's where really it's just retirement communities, and that's just a hodgepodge of anybody, either Floridian or anywhere from the country. If they live in southwest Florida, like Fort Myers down, there's nothing there. It's just that's where you lock the old people away so that you don't see what's happening to them. And then when you find out they die, you go, well, that's unfortunate. But it was not in your line of sight, so you don't have to worry about it. Plus, Southwest Florida has a direct highway over to Miami called Alligator Alley. And this highway...
Do people get eaten by alligators on it?
Are there
Yes,
alligators?
they do. People do get attacked because people do pull over to see the alligators and do get attacked. But then you're driving on these highways because alligators walk out onto the highway. So you're going to try to run over an alligator, especially if you're on a motorcycle. That ain't going to happen.
No, you jump in and you do a cool trick.
Yeah.
Well, if you're experienced, you're talking about a lot of these quote, weekend warriors that have the big fat
God.
custom Harley Davidsons that has like cabinets on the side. You know, it's almost like a trike.
Run an alligator in that. Just run
They
it
have
over.
like a Keurig machine in that fucking
Yeah,
They do.
It's that big and giant. It's ridiculous. Run it over.
If you go up a little further on the west coast of Florida, you get to Sarasota, you get to Clearwater, you get to Tampa, you get to that whole area there, and that's a mixture of people from New York and people from the southern area of the United States, like New Orleans, Alabama, maybe Tennessee. Like those areas move over to the southwest, the northwest part of the state of Florida. As you get up even further is what they call the Panhandle, which is the little arm that sticks out, and nobody moves there because they're fucking crazy. Like Panama Beach, there was that one hurricane that destroyed the entire town. The town was gone. I think it was called Mexico, Florida was the name of the place. And that place was completely destroyed by a hurricane. Gone. The Panhandle is where you used to see a lot of WCW wrestling events when they do Bash on the Beach. That was just the fucking motorcycle and crazy people over in there. And then you got the northeast part of Florida, which is usually people from the Carolinas and Georgia that happen to move to Florida are all in that area. Like that northern part of Florida through the Georgia and the Carolinas are all pretty much the same style of people. So if you're moving to Florida, that you got to pick your section of where you're going. Texas, it's open season. You can go wherever the fuck you want, and it's just great. It's like if you're down in Galveston by South Padre Island there, and you're gonna live it up like it's Florida, fantastic. You want to live in the outskirts of Dallas or Houston, also good. Like there's great places to live everywhere you go. If you want to go out to Austin, if you want to go out there and be kind of bougie with the art scene and the barbecue and food world and everything, that's a great place to go too.
I've never been to any of these places. I want to go.
Texas is fun.
Never been to Texas.
A lot of good eats in Texas.
Yeah, and I heard
a lot of barbecue.
Austin is cool too. Like there's actually happening cities with a lot of shit going on. Like it's not what I always pictured growing up in my head. It was just tumbleweeds and people with guns.
Yeah, I've never been there, so I would go anywhere. I'd check it out.
What about tumble seaweeds?
What? Seaweeds?
Tumble seaweeds.
Tumble seaweeds. Yeah, that's what we
Yeah,
have
you
in
gotta
Hawaii,
eat 'em.
but they just tumble right into your mouth. And
Not
you
gonna
them.
eat them.
It's
Nope.
delicious.
Right into your mouth. You just go, oh.
Not for me.
Tumble seaweed.
Right off the beach, fresh.
Yep.
Not even toasted.
So
You gotta watch
anyway,
out though, because sometimes you might think it's tumble seaweed, armadillo, right into your mouth. You gotta be careful.
That's
Yeah,
their
those
version
are
of
crunchy.
Armageddon. They just go armadillo, and then
Yeah, and then it
everyone
hits the
panics.
earth and just goes splat, and you're like, oh shit, that didn't kill anybody.
And then a
That
hurricane
armadillo's
comes.
dead.
Right. All right. Moving on from hurricane stuff.
Oh my god, I got these new people who moved in upstairs, and this one girl does like woodworking,
What?
and she's just using like a belt sander right now, and it just sounds like she dropped like a high powered vibrator on the floor. It's just like, like it just won't stop shaking.
Maybe it is.
It's
Maybe
really annoying.
Maybe she's
Yeah.
got a drill dough.
Just go up there and ask her to send the link of that vibrator because it sounds top notch.
I mean, it's just like the whole building's gonna fall down right now.
Dude, that's crazy. Who just has fucking woodworking as a random like hobby in their apartment in Brooklyn? Like,
Brooklyn,
that's
man, this
nuts.
place is crazy. And she probably grows mushrooms and has like a fox named Pete. I have no idea.
Dude, there's all kinds of weirdos in Brooklyn. You know, some that are wearing overalls and those circular round glasses, and they're just whittling on their front porch. They're blowing into a jug that has 3 X's on the front of it.
Yeah.
Shouldn't they be in Alabama somewhere? Is that where they moved from?
Giddles, never stop during the middle of a hoedown. Thank you.
Oh my god, stop it! I'm gonna get a broom and start banging on the ceiling.
You're gonna
I
be
can hear
you're gonna
that.
be the neighbor on Friends that's banging on there and then they say there's nothing going on, or you walk up there, there's really nobody living there. You're just hearing
Yeah.
things.
Oh, then it turns out that the entire time it's happening in your head.
Throw stuff at the ceiling.
In your head, zombie. Moving on. So a bunch of stuff happened in the world of entertainment in the last week. I want to touch on the MTV VMAs real quick, and then we're going to
MVAs,
the VMAs, the
MVAs,
Video Music Awards,
Music Video Awards.
live from lovely Newark, New Jersey, and hosted by comedian Sebastian Maniscalco. So
I've heard his name.
I have no idea who that is.
He's a very big comedian. He sold 3 or 4 days at Madison Square Garden recently.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good salesman.
Big deal. He's on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. If you ever watch that,
Never heard of him.
He's got a couple of specials online. You see a lot of stuff about him. Anywho,
Yeah.
so he's hosting it. So they do the show. He comes out. He welcomes everybody. He's supposed to host it, but you saw him maybe 3 times through the whole entire show. They don't really, just like other award shows, you have a host. They don't really let you host because you should, as a host, you should be introducing all the people that are coming out to present awards. And when they're done, all of a sudden the voiceover person is the one announcing who else is walking out there. Like the host does nothing. The host
they
welcomes
just
you
kinda stand there,
and then tells
crack
you,
a
oh, the
joke.
show's over if they get the show done in time and they don't already cut the network feed. That's what the host does. So he comes out there, does a quick little set. It was kind of funny because he's a funny dude. He took shots at millennials when this is a major millennial event, which was pretty fun. He was saying that he's like, if you get triggered by the lights or the sound, we've got safe rooms in the back. Like he did this whole thing.
It was marketed towards millennials. So millennials are like 30 now. So like whatever the generation below millennials are, the people who are like the 18 to 25-year-old.
They're not watching MTV at all, though. Millennials will still watch it for that, fat 16 and pregnant girl and Teen Wolf and what other shows that they throw on there.
Millennials in their 30s are still watching Teen Wolf. That's depressing.
Teen Wolf,
believe that.
Catfish is a show on there. Jersey
Hatfish?
Shore's back.
It's like a fish that sells hats. He's like, welcome to my hat stall. I'm Hatfish.
Not
Actually,
Hatfish.
he just models.
Would you
some
like a
hats.
sombrero? I'm Hatfish.
You should
He
animate
just
that.
models hats. Yes.
No, Catfish, the TV show based on the movie that came out a while ago. So there's weird shows on MTV that millennial age still watch, where I don't think younger people below them are watching those shows or watching MTV in general. So he comes out there, takes a few shots, which was kind of funny, and then lets the show go on. So here's how times have changed. The show opens up with Taylor Swift, and she does her big hit, You Need to Calm Down, and then 1 or 2 other songs where she's just playing the guitar from her new album. She's pretty good. She plays live, she sings live, the crowd's into it, everybody had a good time, it was fine. Mm-hmm. Some of these other acts that come on there, and you're watching like, I don't fucking get it. So obviously, a big generational gap in my part from watching it, but some of them are just horrible. Like, they were really bad. This one lady came out, a rather large lady named Lizzo. And
This is like a huge name.
she comes out and she's doing sort of, I guess, like an Aretha Franklin meets Sir Mix-a-Lot kind of thing. So she can belt out a song and she's doing the whole, the big... Christina Aguilera does it too. The overdramatic vibe where the hands move in, where they're singing, the vocal range of what they're doing. She comes out. She's a rather large girl wearing very unflattering shorts that are riding up her ass, showing the big ass cheeks. Then all the dancers with her are other large girls who have pants on, but that have big holes cut in it to see their asses all over the place. So there's just a lot of fucking meat is just gyrating on this stage here, right? And then this big inflatable brown butt in a tiny thong shows up on the center of the stage. So I'm looking at it, and I put the photos up on my Instagram, eRock Radio, if you want to check it out. I'm looking at this, and I go, this looks like Sir Mix-a-Lot's Baby Got Back.
Yeah.
Right? So I posted the photo. I said, didn't Sir Mix-a-Lot get in trouble, or didn't people say things when Mix-a-Lot tried this back in the day? And I get people saying, well, maybe more people are more tolerant now and accepting and understanding of who people are. And I just like, no, nobody gets a fucking joke anymore. She has a big inflatable ass. He had big inflatable asses on his set back in the day when he was... That's the only comparison. The songs don't sound alike. They don't look alike. It's just a big inflatable ass is what I was pointing out. So that goes on. And everybody's saying, oh, how beautiful she is, and how talented she was, and how inspiring all this was. And whatever, fine, good for you. A few other acts come on there. They do the Jonas Brothers from the Stone Pony in Asbury Park. So it's obviously it was taped like a day or two before.
Yeah.
because when they come out, they start off on the set, and you got a crowd in the Stone Pony. And if you don't know the Stone Pony, it's a very famous. I don't want to say nightclub, but like a music
It's like a
club.
venue.
Yeah, a venue.
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen, helped make it famous. Bon Jovi, a lot of big acts. Oh, and it's been around forever. So it's a small room, small stage, big crowd in there, packed around the stage. And then they do one song, and then it stops, and they run off the stage. So they run out of the Stone Pony down through this, pathway that's made for them with security. There's fans all over the place to this bigger stage in a field right next to the Stone Pony. So now, if you're a fan of the Jonas Brothers and you got to the Stone Pony to see them right on stage, and you only saw maybe a minute of their performance because they ran out. Now they're on this bigger stage outside where everyone else has front row seats, and you're stuck in this place where they're not performing. Was kind of funny. I did feel bad for those people. They get out on the stage, and as they're singing and they're doing it, it's all lip synced, but it's so bad they can't match the lip syncing what they're doing.
Jeez.
So at one point, one of them takes the mic away when he goes, "Sup, New Jersey," and the mic's now down by his waist, and he's saying it. And you're like, wow, this is really choreographed so bad. Like, so bad. And that was met with, what an iconic performance. Everything's so fucking over-exaggerated with...
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't hear a goddamn thing about the MVAs.
Me neither.
Yeah, nobody talked about it.
Because it doesn't matter, dude. Like, there's no reason to get this upset about it, Eric. It doesn't matter.
No, it is because it's good content to talk about. Nobody gives a fuck about it, but I'll watch it just because I want to talk about it.
But it doesn't matter in the long run.
Cardi B won an award. I hate her with a passion. I hate her. So she comes out.
Eric, you hate everybody, though.
I know, but there's reasons to things. So she comes out. She's wearing a stripper dress where it's got the flap over the front part and the flap over the back part, but the legs and the side are all cut out and open and exposed. Yeah. She comes out there. It looks like an evening gown, but it's cut like a stripper dress. And she walks up there. Her legs and her ass are so fucking big that she's got tattoos on her ass down through her leg.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that she had ass tattoos.
She has, pull up my Instagram and take a look. She has huge ass tattoos going down her whole leg on both sides.
Nice.
She comes out to talk, and it sounded like a demon was trying to speak to people. She is so illiterate and so incapable of putting a direct thought out as a human being. She's terrible. That she's speaking in this weird gibberish, and she's making all these noises and going like that. You're like, what is this? She's fucking possessed. This was not a human noise that she was making. And everyone's cheering her and saying how great she is, and she's a terrible human being, and she's a terrible artist. And I'll tell you why she's a terrible human being, because there were stories that came out a while ago, and she admitted to it that when she was back being a stripper, that she used to drug guys and rob them all the time. Now, I don't know how you get away with that, but she found a way to do it. Now she's won like Video Music Awards. She's won other kinds of awards. She's had hit singles. Yeah, she's a big fucking deal.
She has 50 million fucking followers. Holy shit.
But I mean, the amount of people in this world who have done horrible things and have gone on to like win awards and like still be in the public spotlight.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying she's the only one.
I know, but I'm just saying it's like that shouldn't be shocking. You know what I mean? Like that happens all the time.
She cannot speak at all.
I listened to her in a video once, and it was the most. I've only ever heard her say like one thing, and I was fucking dying. I was laughing so hysterically because it was so ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Cardi B.
So she's celebrated.
Just funny to listen to.
Then you had then you had part of the cast of The Sopranos come out on stage to introduce something.
Did they cut him off?
No, that would have been
really funny.
So Jamie Lynn Sigler, who plays Meadow Soprano in The Sopranos,
how old is she now? Like 50?
She's got to be in her 30s. Then the lady who plays Adriana, Christopher's wife or girlfriend that got killed at the end. Remember they shot her in the woods?
Yep.
Yeah, she was there. And then Vincent...
I guess she didn't die.
Pastore, is that his name? Who played Big Pussy?
Yeah, I think that's his name.
So they come out, and he's all, gangsta up, and he walks in and goes, "Who said you could have the VMAs in New Jersey without letting me know?" And
MVAs.
Going through all of this, and then they're talking in over-exaggerated mafia Italian speak and dialogue, and I'm watching this. I go, "This look in the context of what they were doing in The Sopranos, makes all the sense in the world, and it was very well done." Here, they just look like idiots. And I forgot this was tying in with the fact that they had SopranoCon in Secaucus. They had a huge convention in Secaucus for the Sopranos.
How long has Sopranos been off the air for?
30 years.
I would say, what did they do? 2006, 7, somewhere in there, 8? At least 10 years it's been off the air.
Yes, over 10. Jesus.
But now you got the movie that's coming, the prequel movie, which they're filming not far from me. They shot some house stuff.
All these movies of shows that are over, like, get a new idea. Stop going back to the well. I'm tired of this shit.
Well, that's what they're doing.
I know.
So they came out there.
I don't know. Maybe. I love Breaking Bad, but I don't know if I want to watch the movie.
It's a continuation. It's about Jesse Pinkman dealing with after the events of Breaking Bad. Then you had DJ Khaled come out, who I can't stand.
I hate him.
I don't
like him either.
Because he just yells his name and say, "We the best music," and then shouts over people who can actually sing and dance and perform, and then it's his credit. So it's DJ Khaled featuring Pitbull. Like,
Yeah, and I
Pitbull's
saw
the
him
feature
on-
one. DJ Khaled featuring Rihanna. She's the featured one.
This doesn't make any sense.
All his songs start off, "Yo, DJ Khaled, we the best music. Here's Rihanna," and then the song goes, and then he'll come back at some point for after the chorus, and you go, "Yeah, verse 2," and then the next thing goes. That's all he does. He might be a good producer in making these things, but all he does is take credit for everybody else's shit and throws his name all over it like he's the big fucking talented one. And
have you ever tried it though? Like, have you ever just walked around and be like, "Erik"?
I should. Yo,
Like, just walk into rooms like, "Nagel."
Giddles, yo, man, you gotta understand. Bless up. I bless up. If it weren't for God. And then that's it. He never finishes a sentence. He just makes statements.
If it weren't for God,
Yeah.
I got it.
You got it.
I finished this sentence.
So they did some close-ups of him where he was turning on the mic like this, and he's giving shout-outs to his kid that he thinks is a fucking media mogul, and the kid's 5 years old. And you can see that his hair is really dyed. Like, it was so bad, because when they zoomed in on him, it looks like if he sweats anymore, that's going to start running.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's good.
So his very thinly trimmed beard that matched up. Here's what's weird. So he has this very thin, painted-looking beard, right? It goes up to about where your sideburns would be. Now take the sideburns and the side of your hair and shave it completely. So the beard goes up to nothing right here by your ears, right? And so you shave the sideburns and where your sideburns would be and the whole side of your head, right? And then where the top part of your hair would be, where you would blend it in, leave that there, okay? But make it super short to the skin. Like, almost like you buzz cutted it, but even shorter. So you got a lid up here of hair and then a painted beard here with nothing to connect it in the middle, and that's what he was looking like at the VMAs.
That's so weird.
It is. People are just crazy.
I saw him once on the Hot Ones. You ever watch that show on
Yeah.
YouTube with Sean Evans? Yeah,
That one's great.
Oh, it's so good. If I remember correctly, he was a little bitch. I think he got it like 3 hot wings deep or something and stopped. I think, if I remember. Yeah, and he was just like he was like crying. It was terrible. Like, he sucked at it.
These ain't the best wings, yo.
Yeah, he probably said some dumb shit like that.
Need a Mountain Dew. And then he walked
DJ
off.
Blue Cheese, I need extra.
I did see a recent episode with Stone Cold Steve Austin on that show.
I can't wait to watch that one.
Yeah.
Just because of Stone Cold. I mean, I watch it, but like, you know what I mean? That one looks awesome.
The one with Aubrey Plaza is great.
Really?
Yeah, it's really funny. She starts like snorting milk because it's just so hot. And she's like, "This is normal, right?" And she's like, "I'm just gonna do this. I don't care." And she just starts snorting milk. It's really funny.
Did you guys see the one with Bobby Lee?
I don't think
No.
so.
Oh my God. That one was great.
The one with Key and Peele is pretty good too.
It's such an interesting concept because it's so basic. It's one little thing that's what it's all centered around. And I like things where I do like certain things when they're done the right way, where it's just one little concept, and then you have to bring celebrities have to come into your world or their world to do this, to experience this. It's not a talk show. It's not a podcast. It's not anything like that per se. We're going to sit down. Here's the PR pitch to their celebrity client. Well, you got to do this show. All right, what's it about? It's a huge show. It gets millions of views. It's all over the world, and you got to on the internet through YouTube and all that. You got to do. Well, what's the show about? Okay, you're going to talk to this guy. He's really good. What's the show about? All right, you're going to sit down and eat hot wings.
Yeah,
and
it's gonna be delicious.
That's it. He's going to talk to you while you guys eat plates of hot wings, and he's going to try different hot wing sauces and seasonings with you. That's it? Yep. How many people are watching this? Everybody. Everybody's watching this. So
they probably leave out the key detail that it's going to get spicier and spicier until you feel like you want to die.
He goes over. He's like, this is like what we're going to do.
No, I honestly don't think any of the celebrities, the bigger celebrities that he gets, have an idea of, like, have seen previous episodes. They see this fun, safe concept that they'll, that their publicists or the studios or whatever were like, oh, this will be fun. We can put them on there. It's getting a different audience to expose this person to, and it's fine. I don't think they're going back and watching episodes like, holy shit, did you see that Ghost Pepper episode that they did there? Are we doing that? I'm not doing that, And it's over hot wings. It's nothing controversial to get all upset about. But when they go and sit down there, it's like, oh, we're going to go through some of this stuff here. You may cry at the end.
What? Yeah, you're going to burn.
Yeah, you're here. We got milk. We've got soda. We've got water. We've got all this stuff here for you. What did I just say yes to? It's going to be a good time. But anyway, that's a good show. You should definitely watch it out. To finish up the VMA stuff, they did, and this one I really enjoyed. They did, because it's in New Jersey, they did an old school hip-hop collaboration showcase, which I didn't understand what it was at first, because all of a sudden Naughty by Nature shows up on stage, right? The crowd goes crazy, and they start doing OPP, right? And not OPP, no, it was OPP. It was the first one. It lasts 30 seconds and then cuts off the stage to the back rafters where there's a little platform there, and Redman shows up, right? Now Redman's talking, and then I'm like, wait, what the fuck's what happened? And I'm looking at the backstage, and I see Naughty by Nature walking off the stage, and I'm going, wait, that's it? That's all we're going to get? This is going on? And then after seeing the Redman did a song, and then it cut to Wyclef Jean. And I went, oh, okay, we're getting a whole bunch of people here. Okay, that now I'm not mad that Naughty by Nature only got 30 seconds and it looked like they cut him off.
It's going to be like a whole montage thing.
Right, so then it goes to Wyclef Jean, and Ice-T started the whole thing too when he introduced Naughty by Nature. He came out there, was doing a freestyle rap thing, which I don't think any of the younger people were understanding that Ice-T was a rapper before doing Law and Order. And did his stuff. I thought it was great. He came out, I'm like, holy shit, Ice-T's doing rap. And then goes into Naughty by Nature, goes into Redman, into Wyclef. Queen Latifah comes out, starts doing UNITY and one other song that I'm forgetting. Then it goes to Fetty Wap, who's not an old school rapper.
No.
He comes out and he does a song, and I'm sitting there, and I don't really care for him. And I said, I don't get. Is he from? He might be from Jersey. He might be from New York.
Jersey.
So that might be why he's in there. But he's the odd man out. He makes no sense with all of this. Then they cut back to the stage, and there's Naughty by Nature doing Hip Hop Hooray. Shit's falling down like confetti. Wyclef's coming up there and he's playing guitar. Redman's doing backup vocals. Queen Latifah's doing backup vocals, and they're, Tretch and I forgot the other gentleman's name, the other lead from Naughty by Nature. They're going back and places on their feet. They're cutting to the crowd. People are going nuts. You're watching all this shit, and you're like, this is fucking amazing. And then boom, that thing next to Missy Elliott's montage for her Vanguard Award got the biggest pop from the whole thing. And most of these acts were younger acts that this younger audience loves. And the old school hip hop collaboration showcase got a deafening pop from all of that stuff. Same thing with Missy. She came out and did a whole montage of her songs there and finished it up with Work It. And the whole audience is going derp, dipper, 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 like that. Place is going nuts. Everyone's having a great time. I said, What does this say about the VMAs and current music now when you've got, and look, Missy's not old, but by today's standards, old because her shit was in the middle of the 2000s, when she really blew up. So that's going on 15 years now. But when
was
these
it
older
2000s, I thought she was earlier than that.
No, she had other stuff. I'm talking about like Work It when that came out, when the whole thing. So all of that stuff in like early to mid 2000s, we'll say that was like her big pop, right, for her career stuff there. It took music artists that long ago, and then going back to the 90s and the 80s for hip hop, for the place to go fucking nuts. What does that say about the shit now? Now, I know this sounds like old man stuff, but these older acts were getting a huge pop compared to the younger ones. If it wasn't Taylor Swift, everyone else was like, oh yeah, looking at their phones or doing whatever while this was going on.
You think it's because of all the recent hype of just nostalgia in general between like Stranger Things? Because I mean, like 80s stuff is popular. Like it could just be the younger generation, like that. The new ones go to the 90s and the 2000s instead of like what we do.
It could be. It could be that.
It could just be a nostalgia type.
But I also think too, if you hear a lot of rap music lately in the last 10 years, a lot of it is very, very monotone. It's very like there's no hook, bridge, chorus, any of that stuff. It's just music starts, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, ends, and it's all the same thing with the song. There's no change ups, and a lot of it isn't very happy, like pop or dance or energetic or a lot of energy into it. It's all very low key and mumble rap shit. And I think
mumble rap shit, I can't deal with that.
Right, but that's what I'm just saying. That's been the popular style, like the trap music and all this other shit from the last several years. There's no big hip hop was used to be telling you about their story, where they came from, the hard times they came through there, and then other hip hop was big anthems of fucking happy shit and party shit or positivity and that. Like you go through the stages of each rap persona's career where they show you the serious stuff, the happy stuff, the popular stuff, all that. But hip hop just doesn't do that anymore. There's no, hey, this is going to be a big club song, a big party song, big whatever on the radio. It's not that anymore. People, like,
I think it just depends because like I have like I work with like a bunch of younger coworkers, so I hear a lot of like new music and stuff like that. And my one coworker, all she listens to is just horrible mumble rap shit.
Yeah,
and it'll be mumble rap, and then and she's like Spanish, so sometimes it'll be like Spanish mumble rap, which is even worse. And it's just the whole time. I'm like, these aren't words. And like, I usually don't like to complain about stuff like generational stuff because I don't get it. I'm like, I'm an older person. I'm not going to knock people and stuff. Be like, if I don't like it, I don't like it. But I'm not going to like shit on it.
I just want to understand.
I'll shit on mumble rap because that shit is
mumble
terrible.
Rap is terrible.
It's all auto-tuned. They are not saying anything. There's and it's just tuned and it sounds like shit.
I know everyone loves. Sorry, go ahead.
But then like I have my other coworker, and he just listens to all this like new hip hop, but like the underground stuff, and it's like all the stuff that we used to listen to. It's like really good like hip hop. It's just not mainstream.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I would love to listen and discover these new bands. I don't know where to start for that.
Well,
stuff
maybe
anymore.
this next week when we do our playlists, I'll put a whole bunch of some of the newer hip hop stuff that the kids are listening to.
Please, I would love to. I would love to hear some of this new stuff. Because of what I do and how we do these things, I hear a lot of it's all mainstream stuff. So,
but you know what? A lot of the new
I don't get to hear any of the new shit. I mean, all the new shit now sounds like this YouTube rap garbage, and it's not like there's no spirit of where it had meaning to where they were coming from what their story was or where they grew up. And then the party versions of those songs where there was a lot of energy, a lot of old hip hop stuff where you're like, oh my God, if that came on at the party right now, everybody would be singing this thing or everybody would be feeling good because that song is on. You don't get a lot of that out of current hip hop. If you're saying it's on the underground stuff, I would love to hear it. Please put it out there.
Yeah, and a lot of it's like kind of different too. Like there's a lot of stuff that's like it's just a lot more chill and it has a lot more of like jazz and like funk elements to like a lot of it too, which is kind of interesting.
That was big in the night. Remember in the early 90s, that was a lot of hip hop. If it wasn't gangster rap, you were getting what they called the New Jack style out of New York City, where it would have rap and blues infusion into into what they were doing, like De La Soul.
Yeah.
You know, you would hear that's the jazz and the stuff. Fucking Cleopatra Jones, because I'm cool like that. I'm cool like that. That group, I can't remember the name of it.
We were listening like Tribe Called Quest. And
Tribe Called Quest is good.
Yeah.
Blackalicious. You ever listen to any Blackalicious?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, they're really good. I think Giddles, I actually think you both might like them. Blazing Arrow is an awesome album. But that's like older stuff too, but it was always more underground. I don't think it was any sort of mainstream stuff. They're really good too.
But yeah, a lot of the hip hop and stuff that I listen to works either like some new weird, like kind of like jazzy, funky stuff, or it's just old school, like even underground stuff that I didn't really listen to back in the day that I'm getting into because it's got like cool beats and like cool hooks and stuff. So there's lots of stuff.
Send it my way.
There.
I would love, and that's the thing, because we grew up in New York, and I've been very vocal about that. I used to watch MTV Raps back in the 80s and into the 90s with Dr. Dre and Ed Lover when they were hosting. Remember that one time, by the way, another side note, we were talking about MTV Raps doing the show at Sirius, and we get back to the office and Ed Lover's in our office.
Yep, he's just right there.
I have photos of that. I got to post those again. But Ed Lover's back because he heard us talking about it. Ed used to do the Backspin channel on Sirius XM, and he was there on Saturday nights when we were doing the show. And we were talking about our love for the old MTV Raps, and I wish they had programs like that. Because if you try to watch anything in a showcase form, like I guess BET would be the place you'd have to go to now, if they're even still doing it. But the way they did it didn't really showcase it like MTV Raps did back in the day, where they were hanging out. They'd have the rappers come on. They would have fun. They would play the videos. It was just a good time, and you'd learn about a culture that you obviously weren't a part of, but it was right next door to you because we were all right there in New York. So it's like, this is going on. I want to know about it. And I mean, a lot of people watch it, but a lot of white kids got introduced to hip hop and everything from MTV Raps. And I've loved hip hop ever since until we got into this decade, and I just had to stop listening to it. I can't get into this shit anymore. Like when
I don't like it.
Lil Wayne was borderline for me because he has some stuff I like and there's some stuff I don't like. But
some stuff makes zero sense. Some of his raps, you ever listen, you're like, what the fuck is he saying?
I know, and it's kind of funny because he's all messed up. But then all of a sudden he's out there, he's at fucking Warped Tour skateboarding. So it's like you kind of like the guy. But then you started getting into these weird areas when Drake started getting big. Like I've seen Drake live twice, and I can't stand
Drake.
him.
He is terrible. He is just auto-tuned. There's no tone. There's no fucking there's no rhythm. There's nothing. He just talks.
I had to take a nephew.
Talks.
I had to take a nephew for his birthday to the Young Money Showcase at Radio City Music Hall.
Oh, you loved it, Erik.
Oh, I did not. They freaked out because this guy Birdman showed up and did one song. Birdman. And he does this Birdman, and he goes, whoo, whatever he does. That's like a pigeon, but I can't do the bird call. But he'd do this thing with his hands like that because he had a sneaker thing, and whatever. So he came out there. Nicki Minaj was there because I think she was part of Young Money at one point. Tyga. And like all this shit was going on. I'm sitting there and I'm just kind of looking at this, and I said, I don't. He's having a great time. Him and his girlfriend were having a great time, and I'm just kind of sitting there like, this is not for me. This isn't my scene. But I would love to discover new stuff because I just thought music was just really going into a shitty direction. And it seems like mainstream music is going to stay that way for a while. But if there's some great underground stuff going on, by all means, not just Giddles and Zia, but if you listening to this, some stuff, tag us.
Yes,
tell us to check this out. Send us a link, or we'll look for it on Spotify or iHeart or something like that. We'd love to find some new shit. We're putting those playlists out, and like Giddle said, he'll put some songs on there. But if you got playlists and you want us to check shit out, send it to us. We'll listen to it and we'll tell you what we think. I'm always looking for new stuff.
I'm curious to know what you guys think. If you ever check out an artist, this is another like old school underground artist I used to listen to in high school. I don't know how old school, but
Tupac Shakur.
Yeah, Tupac. You guys ever heard of that guy? Super
Maybe.
underground. Nobody knows him.
I've heard of him.
Remember one of those the fucking clown faced rappers, the one of those tattoo. No, not ICP. They're clown rappers. They're wicked clowns. These are clown faced rappers that have all the tattoos and braces and shit, and Tech Nine, I think his name was, or something.
Oh, Tech
yeah.
Nine. They have one song I like.
Where he has all the weird fucking colored hair, and wasn't he the one
Yeah.
that said like Tupac was overrated and the whole black community turned on him? It's like, what the
idiot.
fuck?
Why
You
would you
can't
say
you can't
that?
say that.
Wow, what a dummy.
Yeah.
No, I'm curious to know what you guys think of this dude called Bus Driver. It was super weird.
Oh, I love Bus Driver.
Yeah, you do?
Oh yeah, I listen to Bus Driver all the time.
Okay, great.
I put him on my playlist
Well,
last
yeah.
week.
I don't
Shit,
know Bus
all right.
Driver. What's one of Bus Driver's songs?
I don't know, man. They're all weird.
They're
Fortnite.
all super weird.
They're all super strange, man. They're great.
I'm
Yeah,
all
there's-
about that.
It's just like weird time changes, like weird rapping rhythms, like extremely bizarre lyrics.
Yeah, it's like if you think of like
It's like experimental hip hop in a way.
yeah, it's super strange. It's like if you think of Tool, the way Danny Carey drums is like the way he raps.
Yeah, like sometimes they'll have a song where it'll have like a saxophone be like do 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 do, and he'll be like, and then I went to those, or like he'll like rap it like over the notes as it's playing it type shit.
So he raps like Devo? Is that what you're saying?
He raps all different kinds
I
of
went to
ways.
the store. My brother.
Yeah, Bus Driver's great.
All
Just
right.
check him out. He does a lot of collaborations with people, and yeah, his music is just very weird, but I like it.
Please, I want to take time. We got some more time off happening here. I want to take some time and sit and listen to all this. I need new stuff to discover.
Check
Cool.
out Blackalicious for real though. I think you'll like them.
She put the boys on rock. Oh, that's Fergalicious. Sorry.
Fergalicious.
All right. Let's take a break. When we come back, we got to talk about some TV movie stuff. And real quick, after when we come back, Brian, I want to talk to you about Popeyes and your Taco Bell post from today.
Yo, did you see who liked the tweet from earlier?
I'll find out after the break.
Oh, it's good.
It's Erik Nagel with Erik and Giddles. More next. It's Erik Nagel. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and Facebook at It's Erik Nagel.
Hey, it's Danny McBride. You're listening to It's Erik Nagel.
Welcome back to It's Erik Nagel, segment 2, with myself, with Giddles, with Zia. Hello. Welcome. How are you? We don't care. We're moving on.
What, you don't care, Erik?
No, I care about you, just not the audience that is
thank
listening to
you.
this right now. So looking at last week's box office, coming in at number 1, Angel Has Fallen, which I think is the third movie in this series, because they had Olympia Has Fallen, which was the White House, then London Has Fallen, which is London, and now Angel Has Fallen, which is, I think they threw the
White
president in
House?
the water, and it's Morgan Freeman as the president again.
The president of the water?
He's
What?
the president. They threw the president in the water, and then the Secret Service is trying to say that he was trying to kill the president.
Oh.
Even though he was getting hit with an airstrike, I don't know, or
Right.
a drone strike or something.
Something was going on there, and they said that he arranged the whole thing. It stars Gerard Butler, which, by weird coincidence, I accidentally saw a movie over the weekend, and I'll get to that after I finish the top 5 here. Number 2, Good Boys, which is the Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg movie,
Yep.
which I think it's just super bad for middle schoolers. Number 3 is Overcomer, which I don't really know what that movie is.
Sounds like something that you find on Pornhub.
Yeah, right?
I think that's just filler. It's like, well, we got to get this movie out before the end of the summer, and we promised that they were going to do it, so just throw it out at the last week of August. Number 4, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. And number 5, the live-action Lion King. Those are your top 5. Now, accidentally seeing a movie over the weekend, I hit the wrong thing on the remote, and it landed on, apparently, like, the cable spectrum has opened up so much that apparently there's like 6 different Cinemax channels with my HBO package.
There's 6 different everything channels now.
Right. So I'm on one of the Cinemax channels. And
Cinemax?
not anymore. They're not, it's not like that anymore. They actually have real programming on certain nights. Like they're trying to do what HBO Showtime does, but nobody recognizes the fact that they have their own shows. They're just shows that exist, and nobody acknowledges that there's actual programming on Cinemax.
That sucks.
So I think, and because it's owned by HBO, so I think it's whatever that Cinemax, whatever HBO does have some kind of contractual obligation towards, but doesn't really want to do anything with, they throw it over at Cinemax and just, you do it. You fulfill the obligation and then cancel it as fast as you can. So that's what's on over there. But I watched a movie called Hunter Killer.
Okay.
And the only reason I stayed on this movie, I didn't know what it was called at first, because I just see submarine shit going on. And I'm like, oh, this looks kind of cool. People are shooting missiles that they're not like depth chargers. They were missiles that were up in the sky that came straight down into the water. Now the missiles are working underwater, and they're coming, and the submarine's trying to dodge them. So while they're exploding around there, and you see them, everybody in the submarine is just bouncing around, and lights and smoke are happening, and you're hearing explosions, and people are complaining, and there's water coming in from different directions, and they can't launch counter-strike torpedoes. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. I came in the middle of the movie, and shit's going on. So now the captain of the submarine says, he's talking about the ocean floor. He's like, how far are we? And they're telling you how far we are from the ocean floor. And he's like, what's the conditions? And this one guy says, muddy. He goes, ram it! And then they just drop the submarine into the ocean floor so that it makes this big kind of muddy dust cloud. And so the last missiles that are coming in explode when they hit the dust cloud rather than hitting the submarine, right? So now all this stuff is done. And now dialogue scenes are coming in. So now I'm like, cool. Now I'm going to find out what the fuck is going on.
Why they're stuck down there.
Why this is all going on. So apparently, and this stars Gerard Butler. He's the captain of this submarine.
Well, that's your problem. You had a butler as the captain.
He's my butler. So this is going on. And apparently on board, they have the president of Russia, and I guess whoever the head of his naval command. These two figures are on board on this American submarine. Who is trying to destroy the submarine is part of the Russian naval military. These destroyers are trying to track down where the submarine is and destroy the submarine. So I don't know why, if the president of Russia and their top military guy for the Navy is on this submarine, why they're trying to destroy the submarine. Then you find out after other dialogue and trying to piece stuff together that apparently there's a coup going on over in Russia, and some military guy is now trying to seize power and take control of the Russian military. And because the president of Russia was mysteriously kidnapped, and some American naval people or Navy SEALs people were responsible for going in to rescue the president from being kidnapped, and like this was this whole covert operation, and they're about to start World War III, and all this shit's going on.
That's not coup at all.
They said, well, he'll talk to the fleet. If you can get us up into communication range, he'll tell them to back off. And Gerard Butler goes, if we get to communications range, we'll be as good as dead. Like the second they're at this level, they're just going to be destroyed.
Yeah.
So like now they're stuck on the ocean floor. They're trying to figure out how to do this. So they get to some level. Russian military guy gets on the phone, tells them, he's alive, to back off and, trust him and all of this stuff. So finally the submarine rises to the top of the ocean, and you see like 7 destroyers all just facing this thing here. And the one guy who's on the lead destroyer, the captain of that ship, yells at him. He's like, "Destroy the submarine!" Now the crew won't do it, and he's telling the other boats, and they won't do it. So he calls back to the madman running the military back on the land there, on the shoreline, and he says, they're not going to destroy the submarine. He's like, well, then I'll do it. And he has these trucks that come up. It's like very Bond villain looking. These trucks come up next to the pier at a dock, and they open up, and these tubes open up on the back of the truck, and they shoot all these rockets, right?
Oh, man, was this like one of Gary Oldman's last movies?
Yes, Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman was playing he wasn't playing the Russian president. He was playing the person running the military operation over in the United States for while all this was going on. The missiles go flying. They're going down to the submarine, and this is if you ever seen Crimson Tide with Denzel Washington and forgetting the other Gene Hackman, I think was the admiral on the submarine, where they were arguing over whether to launch a missile, and Gene Hackman's just like, we got to launch the missile. I'm an old school guy. We got to do this, And then Denzel, no, you got to wait. You got to trust me on this. And he's like, oh, you're one of these young cadets coming in there trying to make a mark for yourself. So it's a battle of a generational feud on the submarine of whether to launch this missile. Because if they launch the missile, then it's going to start World War III. Missile. Yeah. So this is going on here too. It's like, launch. They have Tomahawk missiles that they're going to launch from the submarine to counteract these other missiles coming. It's like, you got to do it. And he's like, well, if we do this, it's going to start World War III. So now it's lifted from 2 submarine movies. It lifted from Hunt from Red October, and now it's also lifting from Crimson Tide. And they're sitting there waiting, and
both way better movies.
And Gerard's sitting there, and nothing's happening. And then, so the submarine surface, you see the missiles come down to the ocean level, and they're going flying, right? They're about to hit the submarine. And then you hear what sounds like a Vulcan cannon, where like that, and these huge bullet shots are going flying. The destroyers are just open season on the missiles that are hitting the submarine. And you're watching these effects, and you're like, what the fuck's like, how are they hitting every missile that's hitting this thing, right? From the boats. But the submarine's right here, maybe 20 feet from these explosions, nothing's happening. So the rest goes here, then they launch a missile from the submarine that goes flying to the mainland, and you just see, it's such an 80s looking scene where the guy who's now in charge of the Russian military sees the stuff coming over the screen, turns like this, and there's a big glass window pane looking over the dock area to the water, and he just looks, and you see the missiles coming, and he's just like, oh no, and then it hits the building and explodes, and then everything's happy. Like, that was sort of the end of the movie. They did a prisoner exchange, and then the Russian destroyers sail off, and the submarine sails back to America, and everything's happy. And I'm sitting there, and I go, I shouldn't have liked watching this movie, because it's obviously garbage. But I watched from wherever I accidentally landed on the channel to the very end of it, and realized they lifted at least 2 storylines from 2 very prominent submarine movies. So this,
Erik, that's how you like a bad movie. It's you don't want to like it, but you kind of do. For
I know,
stupid reasons.
And I bring this up, one, because it ties
to my side. Welcome to my side,
because it ties into
Erik.
Gerard Butler. But 2, this was exactly what Giddles goes through, where I accidentally saw this movie, and I said, "Wow, this is a bad movie. I probably wouldn't have watched had I not accidentally landed on the channel." And I wound up watching it.
Well, what I love about what I love about this movie is I just looked it up while you were talking about it, and it has 36% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
93% of Google users liked it. So you're not alone.
Yeah, it was just a mindless action movie where just shit. They're trying to destroy a submarine, and that was kind of cool. Like, wow, they're outrunning depth charge, the missiles flying from the sky into the water, because somehow that happens.
If you want to see it, there's a movie out there for you. You just got to look hard. You got to be like, I want to see a movie where someone has to like hunt a submarine at the bottom of the Arctic Ocean while a Russian coup goes on. They're like, yeah, here it is, hunt or kill it.
Yeah, there you go.
Boom.
You got it. It's 2 hours and 1 minute too.
Ooh.
That's a long.
So
movie.
I don't know how much of the actual movie I watched.
I still say round of applause for Erik, who accidentally saw a movie, but when he goes to the movie theaters to purposefully see a movie, he can't.
Yes.
Let's just a round of applause.
I'm gonna clap for that too. Yes.
Yes, that was the case. It did remind me a little bit of. Do you remember when they tried to make a movie based on the game Battleship?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't Rihanna in it?
I'm
trying to remember who was it. Yeah, I gotta find the cast for that movie now.
I thought Rihanna was in it. Maybe she had a song in it.
Why do I keep thinking Liam Neeson was in the? Yeah, he was in that movie. Okay, Battleship was
Alexander Skarsgård.
This is Battleship. If you get a chance to see Battleship, it was just as bad. Battleship was about
Rihanna's in it.
A fleet, the naval fleet, United States naval fleet, interacting with alien ships in the middle of the ocean.
So stupid.
And they were, by the end, they're trying to destroy the ships, and the ships are trying to destroy the fleet and whatever. Then all of a sudden, it turns into a game where it's like Frogger on the water. The ships are jumping up and landing back down in strategic spots of the ocean, and they're going based on coordinates and trying to anticipate where they're going to go to launch their shot. It's a really bad, dumb movie. But it's worth
6
watching.
Razzie nominations.
It's worth watching
6.
at least once.
No, I gotta watch it.
Liam Neeson, yes, he was the admiral on there. Taylor Kitsch, who we've had on the show. Taylor Kitsch.
Peter Berg.
If you don't remember Taylor Kitsch was in. We had him on the show for something. What did we have him on for?
Hold on.
He was. I think he was in one of the seasons of that show that originally. It was on. God damn it! I can't even think.
He
of
was
the
on
name
True
of it.
Detective.
True Detective.
That's what I'm trying.
That's
to
where
think of.
we
True
had him
Detective.
on for. Yeah, Taylor came on the show to promote True Detective. He was in there. Alexander Skarsgård was in there. Rihanna's on there. Brooklyn Decker. We had her on O&A once just because she was some kind of, I think she was on Sports Illustrated swimsuit model that turned into an actor. Yeah. Everybody else in the movie I don't recall, but yeah, if you get a chance to watch the original movie I was talking about called Hunter Killer or Battleship, really bad naval movies.
Well, look,
but they're a fun watch.
Another one that has 34% on Rotten Tomatoes, but 90% of Google users liked it. So
because people like bad movies. Like I'm not the only one. There's like people love bad movies. I mean, they only talk about good. But people only talk about good movies because they're embarrassed to talk about their bad movies. I'm not one of those people. I like talking about my bad movies.
Let's see anything else movie related. Giddles watched a movie. That was it by choice or was it accidental? You went and saw Fright Night.
Combination of both.
Okay.
I was on my favorite B and C movie app, Crackle, because you could just watch terrible movies on there all day. And occasionally you come across they have a couple of A movies on there. They have some good ones. You got to sort through them. But I was going through and I came across one I hadn't seen in a while, the original Fright Night from 1985, and I watched it. It doesn't really hold up, but for nostalgia wise, it's kind of fun. The makeup's terrible. The acting is pretty bad. It's got Marcy Darcy in it from Married with Children.
Amanda Burse.
Yeah, she's in it. The guy that Susan Sarandon was married to, whose last name was Sarandon, but I can't remember his name. He was also the voice of Jack Skellington.
Sarandon.
What's up?
Chris Sarandon.
Yeah. And he was the voice of Jack Skellington also. And it's not a very good movie. It's about a kid.
Roddy McDowell was in this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. But yeah, it's about this kid, and he watches a TV show called Fright Night, which got a kind of like Vincent Price type host, and he's a vampire hunter. And then he discovers that his neighbor might be a vampire, and people start turning up dead around town. So he's trying to convince people that his neighbor's a vampire, but his vampire neighbor is very convincing that he's not a vampire. So everyone just kind of thinks this kid's crazy while everyone gets turned into vampires. It's a very long hour and a half. Like, it takes its time getting nowhere. And I don't know. I think it's worth it just to see how bad the makeup was and just how cheesy it is. Like, the one kid who's the lead actor in it is just the supporting lead. He's like if Sonic the Hedgehog was a person. Like, the whole movie is just like, hey man, your neighbor's a vampire, right? It's like, dude, like, calm the fuck down. Like, why are you so like in everyone's face like that? And his hair is just like spiked up the whole time. And he's always just like, yeah, we're gonna go check out your neighbor. It's like, oh, okay, meth head. Because the kid who sees the vampire is like pretty level headed. He's like, all right, why is this your friend?
I want to point out something to you.
Yes.
The kid from Fright Night.
Which one? The lead? Bagsdale or whatever his name was?
Charlie Brewster.
Yes.
Okay. He's Herman from Herman's Head.
Yes, he was the lead. Yes, He was Herman from Herman's Head.
I'm looking at this and I go, he looks so damn familiar. Oh, that's Herman.
Yep, that was him. He didn't have a very long career.
He did. I'm looking at his IMDb. He has a long career, but he has bit parts and everything.
But it's all bit parts and stuff. It's not like
he's a doctor in an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's got a bunch of Law and Order and NCIS credits or CSI credits.
But yeah, I mean, it's a ridiculous movie. It's pretty funny. It's got some moments. It's not the greatest, but if you're looking for something to watch this Halloween and you want to watch a 1985 teen thriller type horror movie that's got some comedy elements for it, I think you'll like it. It's a good Halloween movie because it's not serious. It's just goofy. It's kind of stupid. Like, you'd want to like sit around and eat popcorn with a bunch of friends and like, like not really pay attention, but have it on the background. Be like, oh shit, look, something's happening. And then you point to it and then you all have a good time getting drunk.
I've never seen Fright Night. I think I'll have to add it to the list.
Yeah, check it out. The remake's not very good, but I mean, they spoof it on The Simpsons too. Like that one where Bart becomes the vampire and everyone's the vampire and Marge is like the lead vampire. Like, that's a spoof.
All right. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, check it out.
Zia, any movies you've accidentally watched?
No, I don't accidentally watch movies, unfortunately. I accidentally watch random shit on YouTube, and I come across different streamers I didn't know there were out there.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what happens to me. But I ended up starting Carnival Row. That's just a TV show, though.
Okay.
Carnival Row.
With Orlando Bloom.
We can move over to TV. Carnival Row is airing or is about to air. Or did it come out? It's on Amazon Prime. Right.
Mm-hmm.
What's it about?
It's about basically kind of like the mounting tension between fairies and humans. It's something that I should be super into because I fucking love that kind of stuff. It's very like, oh, this is a show for Zia. But it's like dark and gritty. It's just, they didn't quite land where I think they were. I only watched 2 episodes.
So is it like Twilight but fairies?
Kind of, but darker. Like it's a lot. There's like a Jack the Ripper-esque type murderer running around killing fairies, and then there's like this creature that like guts a fairy and pulls out her bones.
Whoa.
But there's some like really cool elements to it. It's just the writing is not amazing, and Cara Delevingne is beautiful. She's not the best actress, so.
It looks like they're trying to like capture that Harry Potter audience with it too, because I totally thought from the trailer that it was a Harry Potter like type property because it has like that whimsical vibe.
It's very whimsical, but mixed with like a darker, grittier story. And
Okay.
they have this really like random sex scene because there's a fairy brothel, and there's one sex scene where the girl fairy's like fucking a human dude, and she's on top of him. Yeah, and she starts flying, and she flies them up and like is fucking them like him midair. It's like a weird. So like there's random shit like that that's like kind of interesting.
Interesting. So that's how fairies have sex. They mount you and then lift you into the air and skyfuck you.
Yes, and then when they're done, they eat your head. So it's cool.
Oh, so you don't see the little hearts like refilling like Zelda? Like you see them draining and then she bites your head off?
And then she bites your head off, exactly.
I mean, I guess if you got to go out, getting air sex from a fairy and then having your head bit off is kind of the way to go. It's better than like choking on a sandwich, right?
Exactly. Unless you're choking on a sandwich while you're
That's how he died.
So Carnival Row
tried to give the Heimlich, bit his head off.
So Carnival Row is a show that you're not sure if you're endorsing yet.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel. I only watched 2 episodes. I'll see, because I was going to do the after show. So I'll see how I feel a few episodes in. There's only like 8 episodes, so it's not a huge commitment.
Okay. If we can throw it over to Netflix for a little bit, a couple of things I want to point out over there. First off, we had mentioned this, but it's worth mentioning again that there's a new Rocco's Modern Life called Static Cling. I think Giddle said he watched it. I still have to watch it over there. And plus Glow Season 3, which we've mentioned in previous episodes. But for this weekend, you have The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, which has been a lot of hype and a lot of anticipation for this. I think this is the weekend where I watch both. I have not seen the original, so I'll watch the original, and then I'm going to watch this back to back.
The original scared the crap out of me when I was a kid.
Terrifying.
It's terrifying. The Skeesis, is that what they're called?
Skeksis.
Yeah. The scenes where like the little puppet guys are in the chairs and they're sucking out their souls, and like the puppets are like deflating into like they look like Ziggy when they're dead. They're all melted.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrifying for a kids movie, but it's so good. It's still good.
Yeah. So is this a prequel? Is this a follow-up?
Yes.
What is this?
It's a prequel.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, I'm going to have to watch
I'll check it out.
And I'll let you know next week what I think of that.
Oh, yeah. Let us know, Erik.
I'm looking at stuff that's leaving Netflix for September here. Californication's leaving. Which I saw that on Showtime, but I don't need to look at that. There's a lot of weird movies are leaving.
Netflix is, I don't know, man. I feel like they're losing a lot of stuff, and because of the D23, they're just gonna get.
I'm looking through September here, and I see a lot of Disney properties leaving.
Well, yeah.
That's over there. I had never actually finished Portlandia. I only got about halfway through season 1. I've heard it's really good. But Portlandia is leaving at the end of September.
Oh, shit. Well, you better get on it.
Yeah, you better hurry up.
Or
otherwise you're going to have to watch it on another network.
Yes. But coming in this week for Netflix here. Nothing really that's standing out that's worth mentioning for now. Oh well.
I kind of can't wait for The Witcher. When is that supposed to happen?
I don't think that's.
I don't know.
September.
I think it's like, are they filming it right now?
No, it's apparently it's done.
Oh shit!
What?
Yeah,
Oh.
I think it's done, or they're finishing it. That it's supposed to be coming out, I think, before the year's over.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see it for September, but I'll keep an eye out for what other stuff that's on there. We mentioned Dark Crystal, but also Dave Chappelle's new special called Sticks and Stones was out. I enjoyed it. Giddle saw it, and he said it was okay. It wasn't really his favorite, and that's fine too. But I did enjoy it. I think you should, as always, go out there and watch it for yourself and see what you think. I thought his last special that he put out, the two specials together, when he was telling his O.J. Simpson stories, were pretty funny. He's like, now the third time I met O.J.
I think the thing about all like Dave's new stand-up specials is that there's like a lot. There's a bunch of good bits, but there's also like stuff where I'm just like, eh. And I think like if you went through and like edited all of them down, you'd probably have like a really solid hour and a half. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of filler in a lot of this stuff. I don't know.
Well, you got to remember, too, that it's not like the old days where it would take a couple of years before a comic would put a special out.
He's pumping them out like it's ridiculous.
Well,
like,
when he made
like,
that Netflix deal about a year or 2 years ago, that there was a lot of money. So he's cranking through a lot of this stuff, and he can do it. Whether you think his stuff is the greatest or not, he can do it. Like if you watch his specials and you're like, it wasn't really the best, you still don't look at it and go, it was a bad special. Like he does not have material. You just may not happen to like the material, but you can at least say that, he's one of those guys that can put out stuff. They have these other comic showcases on Netflix where they're showing comics from around the world. And one, it's to any taste is selective, but I watch some of these things and I just like these people,
just like,
a lot of them are not ready. They're not like there's some premises that are interesting, but you're like they need a few more years of doing this before jumping to this. They're not. They're not quite
I think it's
there.
also hard too with some foreign comics because there's stuff that just doesn't translate culturally between countries, and like we might speak the same languages, but there's different culture stuff, and it just does not translate. And I think that's a big problem.
You know who I watched once that because everybody was talking about him and they were like, oh, he's so funny, and I actually gave it a shot once, but I did not laugh through his entire special. Was Aziz Ansari.
Yeah, I didn't watch.
Doesn't do it for me.
I didn't watch the new one, but I've seen an older one, and I just never found him that funny to begin with. He wasn't even that funny on Parks and Rec.
He was always just like kind of like hit or miss for me. Like he's got like some good jokes mixed in with bits, but it's a lot of the same thing, like just rambling stories, and eventually he'll get to a good punchline.
Yeah, it's just not for me. I have been watching a lot of Jeff Ross stuff lately. Like I started watching the historical roasts, and then we found one where he goes to a prison and roasts.
The prison roast is fun. The historical roast is ridiculous because he's been writing. He's good at the roast, but he's been writing this roast train for way too long.
Oh my god, too long!
And a lot of the stuff is just not good. Like the prison roasts, I know the special you're talking about was very funny. It was good for what he was doing. It was very good. But everything he does now, I wouldn't even recommend his historical one. Watch this other special that's on Netflix called Bumping Mics. It's him and Dave Attell.
That was awesome. I watched that.
Have you seen that, Giddles?
No,
There's about 5 or 6 different episodes, and they're kind of dueling with each other on stage. So they're talking about whatever or something like that, and if they take a shot at each other, and if that was a good shot, they lean over and they hit each other's mics. Like, that was a good job. And they'd go back and forth where they're just insulting each other. And then a guest comic would come up and do a little bit with them. At one point, they're at the Comedy Cellar, and Bruce Willis is sitting there. So they're taking shots at Bruce Willis, and he's not even part of the special. He was just there with his daughters or something, watching the thing, and they were taking shots at him. It was kind of funny. Like, he was good at Spirited Away. They walked over at him and they bumped him, and he was fine. And if you get a chance to watch the Bump and Mike special, that's definitely worth your time.
Okay, I'll check that out.
It is. And then Ant-Man, why am I blanking on his name? But Paul Rudd, he also got up and he was hammered, and that was really funny. Like, there's good moments.
So watch those things. Dave Chappelle's special, I recommend. You should at least. His other specials are on there too. I love him. I think he's very funny. I will agree with Gills. We talked about this before the show. He's wearing a full body green jumpsuit. like he's going to be flying some kind of plane.
Oh, the
for
Chappelle
the
one?
military. Yeah. And you're looking
it's like he's going to be on a runway somewhere, or he's going to space, and it just says Chappelle on it, and it's got the Chappelle Show logo. His C,
full green Army edition jumpsuit, like he should be on the flight deck waving the planes for takeoff. That kind of look.
It's a ridiculous outfit.
It is.
Like, I don't know why he was wearing that. I was watching it with a friend, and I opened up. We were both like, "Why is he wearing that?" The first thing we said, we're like, "Why?"
Also for Netflix, just so you know, Breaking Bad. The movie is coming to Netflix in October. So it's a lot earlier than we thought, and it follows mostly Jesse Pinkman and what he's been going through since the events of the last episode of Breaking Bad. So that's there for you to check out on Netflix. TV-wise, regular TV-wise, we have The Walking Dead Season 10 coming in October 6th. Rick and Morty Season 4, we always point that out, is in November of this year. The Righteous Gemstones is a great show that's on HBO right now, and it stars John Goodman, Danny McBride, Adam Devine, who you know him from Silicon Valley, and also Haley's boyfriend on Modern Family. Sorry, not Silicon Valley, Workaholics. Workaholics. That's what he was on. He was part of that. He's a very funny dude. He's part of there, and it's a family that has a religious ministry. And they're coming in and buying up all the... It feels like Vince McMahon. Like they're coming in to buy up all the smaller ministries and take over territories. And weird shit is happening. It's only 2 episodes out. Third one would be this Sunday. It's really good. They're 1-hour episodes. It's really funny and it's really fucked up at the same time. And I'm a big John Goodman fan. I really enjoy Danny McBride, and this is a nice collaboration piece. So if you haven't given a chance to see it, The Righteous Gemstones is the name of the show on HBO.
Yeah, that looks pretty interesting. I might check that out.
Check that out. And then Giddles, the final season of Mr. Robot. October.
I didn't finish last season.
October 6th on USA. It's coming back. And there's weird tie-ins. You have to look up online, but there's weird tie-ins to Alexa.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so there's things that you can say, and then it like Alexa will start playing a song or something, and then it breaks into the underground network that has to do with everything that's going on in the show. There's a weird companion piece built into it. So it's definitely, if you're a fan of
that show has got so many hidden Easter eggs and things. It's crazy.
Totally crazy.
I'll check that out.
And as we get out of here, I want to just touch on D23 that happened last weekend, which is the big Disney convention. It's their version of Comic-Con that they have for all and only Disney properties. So much stuff that came out there. Zia, I'm going to have to defer to you on a couple of these things. There was announcements for Star Wars. There was announcements for Marvel. There were announcements for Disney Plus. And there were also announcements for the theme parks. So I'll hit the theme parks real quick, and then we're going to go over to Zia for the Marvel stuff. So they're making a bunch of different adjustments to all of their theme parks, and only some of them can be done in parks that don't include Walt Disney World because of licensing rights. And one of them is being Avengers Campus is what it's called. So apparently the Marvel rights, east of the Mississippi, you can't have Marvel involved in any kind of theme park because Universal has those rights to it. So Universal still has the comic book rights of Marvel's, not the movie rights to anything. But Disney can't develop things in their theme park right now fully with this stuff until they get that deal with fucking Universal all sorted out. So this Avengers Campus is going to be in Anaheim, Tokyo, and Paris right now to start. And it's just a big fucking... It's like being at the Avengers building and Tony Stark's building and all this cool shit's going on. Spider-Man is, I think, one of the feature rides that's going to be in there, which I don't know how they work that out now since they're still dealing with Sony on all this bullshit. But I saw the artwork for it, and they showed you some other interpretations of what they're going to do. It looks amazing. Disney is spending a ton of money on things all at once. Like, we have all this money, let's just fix everything up and add all this new shit to it. And it's opening in 2020, which is not that far away. For summer of 2020, this thing's all going to
really
be
soon.
Dude.
For Avengers Campus, It's going to focus on an immersive experience with the Avengers' most popular characters. Guests will be recruited into the next generation of superheroes as they meet Doctor Strange, Black Widow, Iron Man, Star-Lord, Gamora, Groot, Black Panther, Thor, and Loki. 2 new attractions highlighted at Avengers Campus as Spider-Man gets the honor of having the first full ride in the Avengers world. Among the I can't read the rest of this shit. There's just way too much stuff in here. But so anyway, it's like you're meeting Peter Parker and you're sort of like in a science lab and other stuff's going to go on and you get to go for the whole experience where he's Spider-Man going through that and you kind of are part of the ride of everything that he does. They're opening up other stuff in other parks around the world. Like there's a Shanghai Disney, which I wasn't aware of, but there's Shanghai Disney and they're getting a whole Zootopia theme park for their Hong Kong Disney's getting Frozen. They're going to have a big Frozen land there where Frozen and Epcot is just, they took over Norway and just turned it into Frozen over there. And they're doing that a lot more now, with especially with Epcot. They just announced that Mary Poppins is going to be part of the UK over in the Epcot. So they're putting all that stuff there. Like Dick Van Dyke is recording all new shit. There was photos online of him recording all new things that they're going to, this big experience over in the UK portion of Epcot. So they're adding properties into these countries that they're from, but they're not adding new countries or new worlds into the park. But they are adding all these other new sections as part of Epcot. There's a world showcase. There's a world nature thing that's going to be like animals and I think that's where they're putting the Moana stuff in there. I think that's where it's going, which is apparently going to be a really big deal. There's a Discovery World, which is going to have most of the Marvel stuff. Like they're going to do Guardians of the Galaxy is going to have a feature in there, and there's a World Celebration part that they're putting in there, and then a bunch of Star Wars stuff that they're opening up for Walt Disney World because they could do Star Wars there. They're building a hotel that's supposed to be like a battle cruiser.
Oh my god,
that's cool,
dude.
It's called the Galactic Star Cruiser Halcyon, Halcion, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Halcyon.
For its so you stay there for 2 nights. It's like a big ship, but they treat it like a cruise ship, but it's a hotel. You go in there and you have a 2-night stay, and you get all the interactive experiences of what they're doing. It's a fully themed hotel with an immersive experience that insets passengers into their own adventures. Among the itinerary, visitors to the hotel experience being blasted into space via pods, venture into the world of working cruiser complete with alien crew. You face off against enemies and visit parts of Batu, B-A-T-U-U, if I'm pronounced Batu. No word on the opening date, but it appears closer than previously expected based on all the information that Disney's putting out. So the hotel looks like the ship. You go in and you stay in the ship for 2 days. And there's so many different experiences that you can't do them all in that 2-day trip. Like you have to come back and do all these other little things.
Wait, you can't stay longer than 2 days?
I don't know. Maybe, but the experience for the hotel is 2 days.
Is 2 days.
So maybe you can stay at the hotel and go visit the other parks. But if for your experience within it's like a mini theme park in the hotel, but the hotel's the theme park kind of.
Oh my god, that's so cool. So that's where I want to go for my honeymoon.
Yes. So there's that. And then there's Rise of the Resistance, which is also opening in there. And then they've got the other thing that's open that they just made a big deal over, the Galaxy's Edge. At Galaxy's Edge, which is only in Anaheim right now. So a lot of stuff going on with the theme parks. But what's going on with Disney Plus, which is coming, I think, in November, they're just constantly putting more and more stuff out there. We saw some stuff in San Diego as far as the Marvel aspect goes. They added a few more Marvel things for Disney Plus. Zia, what are we looking at?
All right, so we got a poster for WandaVision, which we already knew was coming out, but it makes me even more excited for that show. It looks so fucking good. I think they mentioned that we're going to see the full scope of Scarlet Witch's powers in this. So, I mean, I think this is where she loses her mind. It's also going to be funny. It's going to have Kathryn Hahn in it. And if you don't know her, she was in Step Brothers. She's been in a bunch of other stuff. She's so fucking funny. She's going to play a nosy neighbor. So it makes me just even more excited for that show. They also announced a few shows that we didn't know we were getting. Moon Knight being one of them, which I'm
Who is
super
Moon
pumped
Knight?
for. he's basically Marvel's like version of Batman. And so that'll be really interesting.
So he's a millionaire that just has some kind of vengeance thing. So he spends all his money to make cool toys.
Yeah, he basically has like a suit, and he's an expert combat, and he's very smart. And I don't know if he's a millionaire. I can't remember. And then we have She-Hulk and Miss Marvel, who I actually don't really know that much about.
The only thing I saw from Ms. Marvel is that they were saying this is the first Pakistani lead character that's going to be out there.
She's Muslim, I think.
And she's based off of Captain Marvel, who was based off Marvel. And that she's like sort of like Plastic Man. She's like very elastic or something.
Is that what it is?
I don't really know much about her or her powers, other than she had weird arms in the art sketches that they had for her.
Yeah, I noticed that she had like weird long arms. That's one that what I was told by somebody who does know the character more, is that she is a fangirl. Like she writes Avengers fan fiction, and then she ends up, I think, accidentally getting powers. So she's like the fangirl who gets powers. So it's something along those lines. So that'll be interesting, I guess. I'm not like super hyped about it. She-Hulk is pretty cool. I think that Mark Ruffalo is actually going to be in that as well.
Okay.
So just for that'll be awesome. And then Falcon and the Winter Soldier Falcon is not going to be Captain America in this. He's been saying.
Okay.
He's staying Falcon.
They did make the announcement that Chris Evans will be old Steve Rogers in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
That'll be interesting.
So I don't know where it's. I guess this is probably after Endgame. He hands him the shield, and then he just never really does anything with it. And I guess the old man's kind of nudging him to take it over. Who knows?
Well, there's also been speculation of, is it possible that was it Steve Rogers' shield to hand over, or does the government see it like, no, that's actually our property. He can't just give that to you.
We'll
Something
find
along
out.
those lines. Yeah, we'll see. And Kit Harington was cast in the Eternals as the Black Knight, which is a little bit on the nose for Kit Harington, but hey.
Hey, who else can he play? He was really good at this kind of character. Like, just cast him as that again.
Pretty much exactly. But hey, at least he's got something outside of Game of Thrones.
Oh, seriously.
That poor guy.
I've said this before. I'll keep saying it. I know nothing of the Eternals. I've never heard about them until the announcement was like, oh, the Eternals are coming. And I think everybody was just kind of saying, because I don't think the majority of the people know who the Eternals are. I think a lot of them were just like, oh my God, can you believe the Eternals? Like they're feeling like they're in the know, like they're getting the buzz of it, so they don't want to look dumb by saying they don't know what it is. I'll gladly say, I don't know who these people are. I don't know what their attachment is to any of this stuff. It's going to be a learning experience for me. I don't get any of this. So they're like, oh my God, this person's like Angelina Jolie and Selma Hayek are cast as. It's like, oh, hey, cool. Doesn't mean anything. I don't know what this is.
They did a lot of gender bending in this that annoys the shit out of me. I fucking hate when they do that. There's apparently, I don't know that much about the Eternals either, except what I've looked into for shows, but there's apparently a really good Neil Gaiman run from the Eternals that's good, and just about anything Neil Gaiman does is pretty great.
Agreed.
And what happened?
I said agreed.
Yeah. And Black Knight is actually not an Eternal. He was an Avenger. So I don't know how that's going to tie in. I guess we'll see.
Oh, there's that. They also had the date for Black Panther 2, which is May 6th of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So 2022, wow, that's a long time off.
I know, right? So
that actually feels like a long time away. When you're like, oh, next summer, I'm like, yeah, it's going to be here in like a week. 2022, I'm like, oh, that feels a long time ago. It's a long time away.
A lot of the stuff that's been coming out this year, they're like, oh, it's going to, and everyone's, oh, it's going to take years forever. And they say, no, 2020. And everyone's like, whoa, that's pretty soon. That even
it's only like
6
4
months ago,
away.
they're like, they were like, oh, 2020. Wow, I thought it was going to be a lot further away. You see 2022, and then you go, yeah, that's pretty far away. That's about 2 years or so from now. We still got to wait for that.
3 years.
Yeah, it's just shy of 3 years. So there's that. Nothing else. I don't think they really added anything else movie-wise for Phase 4. I think that was pretty much it.
That Ming-Na Wen, who plays Agent May in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., if anyone is a fan of that, she is cast in The Mandalorian. So people are pretty pumped about that.
There's The Mandalorian, which is coming. Is it available right? It is available, right? Right when Disney Plus starts. That's one of the big shows that'll be up front.
I think it's that and Loki that were supposed to drop immediately, if I remember correctly.
Well, we have that. A couple other Disney Plus things I'll get to in 1 second, but also they put out the new poster for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, which is coming out December 20th of this year. And you see what looks like Rey and emo Darth Vader. Why can't I even think of his name?
Adam Driver.
Yeah.
What is the character's name? Damn it.
Kylo Ren.
Thank you.
They're both there on the edge. It looks very Empire Strikes Back-ish, and then you see a silhouette of the Emperor in the background. So that's coming. That looked pretty cool. Other Disney Plus stuff that they've announced, they're giving the Muppets another show. So hopefully they get it together. Every time, I love the Muppets, I really do, but they've just had so many bad vehicles the last few attempts that they've tried to put them out there and do it. Like the Muppet movie with the guy from How I Met Your Jason Segel wasn't bad, but then the follow-up movie to that wasn't good. The TV show that they had on ABC where they were running a TV network wasn't good. And then they had another show that came on where they were running a movie studio or something, wasn't good. So you've got great characters, but I just don't think they get the right people in place to figure out how to do this. Like if they could go back and do an old variety show again, like the Muppet Show, I think would really be strong by getting in just doing weird, ridiculous shit. Like if you go back and watch the old Muppet Show, it's still very funny. And there's still a lot of fucked up scenes, a lot of jokes and stuff they snuck in there. Because one, it was the 70s going into the 80s. And two, it was on CBS, which was, at the time they were getting away with a lot of stuff because they had they had MASH, they had All in the Family, they had Good Times, all those edgy shows and everything were on CBS at the time. And the Muppets used to get a lot. If you watch some of those jokes in there, you're like, wow, you couldn't, even if Puppet's saying it, you can't say that in today's age. So that's coming out. They announced Kenobi is going to be a mini-series, or is it a movie or a series for Disney Plus?
I actually don't know.
So that's going.
I didn't hear about that one.
Original series from Lucasfilms for Disney Plus. So yeah, it will be a series. Ewan McGregor will be portraying Obi-Wan Kenobi again. If you grew up with this show before the days of Hannah Montana, there was Lizzie McGuire on the Disney Network. And Hilary Duff is coming back, and they're continuing with Lizzie McGuire as in her life now. So that's I know that'll bring a lot of female viewers into it. Lady and the Tramp, they're doing the live action movie like they've been doing for all these other Disney movies, but this is going on Disney Plus. This is not going in the theaters.
Weird.
Yeah, that's a big. Super weird. Yeah, because they could make a ton of money for that going into the theaters, like all the other ones they did. Even if they were bad, Dumbo didn't look that good, and that still made a ton of money. They could have put this in theater and make money, but this is going to be one of the things that are they're really investing heavy by putting heavy hitters for the launch of Disney Plus. That you're getting these TV shows, you're getting these movies, you're getting the full Disney catalogs, you're getting the Fox catalogs. Like the Simpsons are going to be there day one. Simpsons had a big presence at D23 this year. They had a 2-hour signing window where you can go and meet Al Jean and Matt Groening and the voice cast and all that stuff. They did a little panel. They had a little video that you can find online where the Simpsons walk into the Magic Kingdom and outside, and they're all like, hey, they're all happy to be at the Magic Kingdom. There was that. There's Jeff Goldblum got a show. And it's not airing where you think. So it's airing part of Disney Plus, but it's part of National Geographic.
What?
Yeah, because I saw the trailer for it, and it's branded as part of the National Geographic brand. So it's called The World According to Jeff Goldblum. And he goes around the world because he's curious. He doesn't know a lot of it's funny in the trailer, too. He says, look, I don't know a lot of things. I'm a dumb guy. He's like, I love learning about things. And then you see him learning to tap dance, how denim is made. He's learning synchronized swimming. He's doing all this weird shit that Jeff Goldblum would do. And he just goes around the world learning all these things and having these weird experiences. So it's part of Disney Plus, but it's branded with the Nat Geo label.
Will watch that.
I'll definitely watch it.
Have you ever seen, I think it's a Facebook page that's the same picture of Jeff Goldblum every day.
Yeah.
And it's literally the same picture of Jeff Goldblum every day.
From Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. That's a unique.
It's actually really great.
If you like the Monsters Inc. franchise, there's a new show that's going on Disney Plus there, where it's about monsters who graduate from the university and how they go out about starting their lives, getting a job, trying to scare children and what have you, and living in the monster world. So that's coming in there. Phineas and Ferb was another big Disney property who I've watched a lot of these weird animation things. I've never seen an episode of Phineas and Ferb ever. I know it's a big deal. I've seen them walking around the parks as characters, but they got a movie that's coming out that people are excited about. And the final thing is this. So with people that share Netflix, usually have about 4 profiles for your account. Disney Plus is offering 7. So if you have a subscription, you can share it with 6 other friends in your profile there, and never ruin your account. So
that's great.
That's a lot to take in. All the stuff that they're putting out there, and with Simpsons moving over to Disney Plus off of the FX World thing, having the full 30-year catalog, movies, shorts, edits, all this other weird shit, all of that stuff's going to be available. You're getting a lot for your money, especially going into the first year with the Disney thing. So I will be subscribing to that. I know Giddles doesn't want that. He wants Shudder. He will get that for Christmas.
Well, you're going to have 7 logins, so I can just steal one if I need to.
That is true. And Zia wants food from Asia.
Oh, you don't understand how exciting that is.
All right. I think that's it for this week. So let's go around and do the plugs. Giddles, what do you have?
I got Gittlebase on the Twitter, Instagram, and Xbox Live, and probably some details in a week or so about the cooking show, so I'll keep you posted.
That's going to be available YouTube or Twitch, or what are you looking at?
I'm going to do it live on Twitch, so I'll have a crowd there. I'll be like talking, cooking, all that fun stuff.
There you
That
go.
sounds really cool.
So
be
on the lookout for that. Zia, what do you have?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Zia_land. It's spelled XIA_land. And also I went to an audition. I'm starting a new trial for this new concept. If they like me and I get a lot of interactions, then I will be hired as a paid host.
Nice.
It's an app. Yeah, it's an interesting concept. It's a new thing. It's an app that you basically video chat. Like, I will start topics and ideas and threads and come on and be like, hey, this is who I am and what I like and blah, blah, blah. And then people can respond with their videos. Right now I'm doing a test run of geeky toys and clothes and artwork where I show, like, I was wearing a Totoro dress, and then I showed all the Doctor Who stuff that you sent me, Erik. And then other people chime in and show off their stuff. So it's interesting. If anybody is interested, message me on Instagram and I will send you the link to join the group. I'll also be doing an Instagram post. So if you do that, that'd be super cool because it might help me get a job and I don't have to work at a restaurant anymore. Yay!
Hells yeah, get out of that.
Fuck yes, please.
Are any of these products that you're going to be talking about or things you're wearing, are these from men, listeners, and viewers that have been sending stuff to your P.O. box?
Some of them it is going, not yet, but some of it is going to be because I'm getting a Harry Potter dress that he bought me that I'm so fucking hyped for because it's such a cute dress and I'm going to show that off.
That's so weird. And he's getting nothing out of this.
I think he kind of gets off on it. I think that's what he gets out of it.
Well, I mean, you don't have to send photos or anything back, right?
No.
Wow, he just sends you stuff and that's it.
Mm-hmm. I tell him I want things. And I think that's what he gets off on.
Hey, get free shit.
I think we all need somebody like that in our lives. So if there's any gentleman out there that would love to send Giddles free things and gets off on that, he'll be glad to accept. Just contact us here at the show and we can get that whole arrangement working. For me, it's E-Rock Radio across the board on social media, but more importantly, the show. It's Erik Nagel across the board on social media. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you want to leave a message for future shows, call 651-SMITHERS. That's 651-764-8437. Now, one programming note before we go, I just want to say, because of August and the summer and everything that's been going on here, you've noticed that for this month, we've given you extra long episodes of this show. Well, that stops come September. We're going back to regular time because these shows are way too long. So we were doing make goods and filling things in for you in the summer vacation. And you've been very responsive, and I'm glad everybody's liked it and has been taking it for wherever they're going, summer vacation-wise, or hanging around the house or doing whatever. But school year starts right after Labor Day, and we got to go back to school, go back to work, and that means getting our shit together and back to regular length size shows. So enjoy it while it lasts.
Yay.
And also tell 2 friends so they can tell 2 friends, etc. All right? Until the next time, everybody.
Be
See ya.
excellent to each other.
Goodbye.
I was like, wait, what was I saying? Damn it.
It's Erik Nagel.
Erik, must everything always be about Erik? Alas, we're out of time.
Follow It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. For ways to listen to the show, go to itseriknagel.com. And remember to tell 2 friends so they can tell 2 friends.
And they can tell 2 friends. And they can tell 2 friends. And those 2 friends can tell 2 more friends.